Alright, y'all. This is another TV review video, and we just want to let y'all know we do have a Patreon at World Class Lifestyle. Y'all, please make sure y'all go support that. $5 in order to get, all of our TV show reactions. You can watch everything from the start and stuff like that, or you could just keep up with us on everything that we watching. We are currently on Mondays and Thursdays. We watch The Vampire Diaries. On Wednesdays we watch The Walking Dead, and then on Sundays we watch a TV show called Siren. So y'all, please make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Y'all, please make sure y'all stay tuned for that. And then whenever we get done watching those shows, y'all can, whoever is up on the Patreon and stuff like that, y'all suggest a show and we'll get it right in there. If y'all get in there quick enough and shit like that, we'll probably start watching y'all show on a Tuesday and Friday and a Saturday that we not watching. So y'all just go ahead, go over there, cop that membership and shit like that, and then we got y'all. Let's get into the video. What up, y'all? Welcome back to Mr. and
Mrs.
Loyal, and today we are back with another
show review.
TV show review. As y'all see, we got Money Heist, TV show Money Heist. I don't know how many of y'all have seen this, but it's a real good show. Y'all should go check it out. No cap. 5 parts. It's like 8 episodes each, and then the last part got 10 episodes up in it. Real good show. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Alert. It's a high spoiler alert in this because it's a lot that we finna sit down, break down, and talk about and all of that stuff. So, did you enjoy the show, babe?
Yes, I actually did.
Yeah,
we didn't think I was going to, but
we just finished it probably like an hour or so ago. And then we was just after this, we just start setting everything up so that we can get ready to record and everything. And then we here now. So,
and the reason why I say that is because their lips weren't lining up. Yeah. That's why I said that if you haven't watched the show before, their lips don't be syncing up. So that's why I said that. I didn't think I would like it, but yeah, it ended up being a very good show.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. Like a lot of people, I don't know if people really care about that type of stuff, but I do know that I've known a couple people that didn't rock out with the lips not syncing up. But it's like once you get like locked into the show, you don't even recognize it. It becomes second nature. The only time you do recognize it is whenever you paying attention to it. That's when you like, dang, like they lips is not synced up. But it's a non-factor just because of how good the show is and stuff like that. Now, if it's a terrible show and the lips is not syncing up and stuff like that, then of course it's gonna be harder for you to focus on. No, you gonna start focusing on the lips not syncing up so goddamn much just because of how bad the show is, and you ain't got nothing else good to focus on, So, with all that being said and shit like that, like I said, I enjoyed it. Part 1 was just them breaking into the Royal Mint, broke into the Royal Mint and stuff like that, and it was just a heavy introduction and shit, but. They still was up in there doing everything they needed to do. I can't really do we really remember part 1 like that? I think part 1 it was just them breaking in. Did they get out in part 1? That's my question. I don't know if they got out in part 1 because we start the shows and shit like that and we watch probably like 2, 3, 4 a day and shit. So that's why this information is a little fuzzy on this and shit like that. But I think in part 1, because how did they get out? That's how we gonna do it. I do not remember. You don't remember how they got out?
No, I do. Oh no, they went through that tunnel. That's how the fuck they got out.
Oh,
and
the
then
tunnel.
Berlin is the one that stayed in.
The tunnel was in part 2. Part 2, I think it took up to part 2. Yeah, I think it took up to part 2 up and shit like that and then that's how they got out. So, damn. Like I said, spoiler alert, man. Rest in peace, Berlin.
Right.
He was us. Y'all gonna see our tier list and stuff like that at right after and stuff, and so that y'all can really see like where we ranked each character and stuff. But rest in peace, Berlin. That's when he met his doom. He went out fighting. He was a great character overall. Great character. Is certain characters that had they highs, had they lows and stuff like that. But we sat here and we ranked our tier list just based off of simply overall everything that they did throughout the show, not just little pieces of it and stuff like that, So,
and you would think, oh, you're not supposed to side with the bad guys.
Yeah.
Side with the good guys.
But then overall, it seemed like that. Just that's why this is like a real good show. It's a real great show.
But then I started seeing them as good guys because they started saying how they wouldn't kill nobody.
Yeah, and then that's what I was about to say. They started to. That's how you could tell it's a great show whenever it do shit like that. Whenever it takes you from like, damn, these is bad guys. They stealing.
Right.
But then again, once they slide it right back your way and then be like, we ain't stealing, cause we just making money. That's all we doing. Right. We stealing time. That's the only thing we stealing. That's what the professor kept saying, is we stealing time, especially in parts 1 and 2. That's all they were really stealing and shit like that. That's that's really what makes a great show whenever they can do shit like that. When they bad guys, especially off rip, they bad guys and shit. But since they bad guys and shit, it's they flip it on you and then they make you sit back and be like, damn, I'm on their side, And that's the hard thing about it all. And just so much. It was just so many mind games up in it and shit. But yeah, Berlin, he met his end. The only thing Berlin I didn't like really what he was doing was with that girl. Yeah, with that bitch. To that bitch. Yeah, I just really didn't like. I ain't really like what he was doing with that. It just seemed like he was like forcing her hand a little bit too much. She put herself in that position.
She was playing along.
Yeah, she was playing along with it.
Because she wanted to save.
Herself. But she still put herself in that position. We now finna sit here and be like, oh, it was 100% Berlin, because saying that is not right. She admitted up to doing this shit as well. She just said she was scared. She was fearing for her life. Man, if you doing some shit like that, you better put yourself in a position to be like, man, I'm not doing this shit, and then allow everybody around you to protect you as well. I don't think Berlin. I don't know Berlin. I don't like as a character and shit. I look at Berlin. I don't think he would have been that type of person to be like, oh, I'm just gonna take it from you. You know what I'm saying? And he, even when they was like accusing him of that, the rape shit, when they was accusing him of that, he was like, why would y'all even do that? Why would y'all do that to me? I would never do that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't doing anything to that girl that she didn't be like, oh, okay, I'm here. She was actually looking at that man and saying, hey, I can do this for you. I can help relieve you and shit like that. So since she was doing that, she put herself in that position. She continued to egg him on. And when you when she was egging him on and shit, what he gonna do? Sit there and be like, oh no, I'm not. It's just like you can't put yourself in that position and then expect, oh, nothing's gonna happen. No, things are gonna happen and shit like that. So, that was really the only thing. I just didn't like how he took her hostage at the ending. Like, that's a real hostage situation. How he did that to her, and that shit was like kind of, I ain't really like that. But then again, he stood out on his shield. He didn't, at the ending, when it was the end for him and shit, he did not sit back and be like, you gonna die and I'm gonna die too. You know what he did at the end when he got up, went guns blazing, and just went all out and shit. So
he was just telling her to reload the gun.
Yeah, reload the gun. That's all. Even though that was, I remember when we were watching that scene and shit like that, I was watching and I was just like, damn, this kind of risky. Like, because what if she go up there trying to reload and she get hit, scoped off this planet Earth? You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. Like, she could have got hit during that. Certain characters, it's just like, I don't know, certain things that happen, like with early on, parts 1 and 2. Mainly in part 1, I believe, because this is when they was newer to the situation. Rio and Tokyo getting on my fucking nerves when they continued to jeopardize the plan.
Oh, yeah.
When Rio, when Rio did something happened. Well, I forgot what happened, but Rio did something. Berlin whooped his ass. Berlin had his ass whooped and shit like that, and then Tokyo go see him walking down the stairs limping and shit. And then she like, what happened? And then she noticed it. And then she started shooting the cameras. Like, just stupid. And they did it all because of love. And it was just like, man, you fucking up the plan just because the professor told you no personal relationships, first of all.
Right.
Y'all get yourselves into one. And then now it's just,
Now you're already starting to jeopardize the
shit. They was jeopardizing it heavy and shit. And then I'm not saying, I say this, everybody jeopardized the plan in some way. Denver started fucking with a hostage. The only 2 people that was real smooth, 3 people that was real smooth was Denver Dad. Whenever it came down to sticking to the plan, was Denver Dad, because I can't think of anything he did that real life jeopardized the plan. Can you? Oh no, he did jeopardize the plan when that man walked outside when he tried to walk outside and shit like that. And then and Denver ran out there to go get him. He was like, Dad, no, stop, no, stop. And then he had I think Denver put a mask on, but his dad had walked outside because he thought Denver actually killed Stockholm.
Yeah.
So that's the time. So I can't say him, but
so technically
Helsinki and Oslo, what did they do? They didn't do anything to jeopardize.
But they got in a relationship, kind of.
How did Helsinki get in a relationship? I'm talking about in parts 1 and 2.
Oh,
mainly, because we ain't even start talking about parts 3, 4, and 5 yet.
Oh, well, then
you know what I'm saying?
Then.
So yeah, out of those two and shit like that, rest in peace to Oslo. You know, he got.
Wait, wasn't Stockholm still in that bullshit with not wanting to kill anybody? Stockholm.
We honestly is jumping a little bit too far ahead. Stockholm, because Stockholm, you know, that's Denver girl. Yeah. So
was she even a part of this shit yet?
Yeah, she wasn't even a part. She was a part of it in part 2 towards the ending type shit, because that's when she had noticed that, oh shit, I'm with the bad guys now, or the bad guys. You know what I'm saying? That was towards the ending of part 2 and shit. But like I was saying, really Oslo, rest in peace Oslo. So
Oslo didn't do shit.
He wasn't really. It just seemed like, wasn't he the first one to? Yeah, he was the first one to go. He was the first one to go and shit like that. He didn't talk as much. I didn't really hear him talk that much. He was just like, he was a hearing afterthought, and I think they did that for a reason. They didn't show too much of him because they was like, somebody has to die. It's a heist. All these mistakes continue to happen and shit, so somebody has to die. So yeah. With that being said, I just sat there and looked at that.
The professor said too, like throughout the beginning of the shit, when how like they would show little flashbacks of them in class and shit. Mm-hmm. I think he said not everybody's gonna make it out alive or some shit.
Yeah, it is. I think he said it would be a chance of it and shit like that. But I felt like everybody, even the professor, fucked up because he fell in love. You know what I'm saying? He started falling for somebody. But I feel like if they would have stuck 100% to the plan, it would have been like flawless.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have been touched.
Tokyo, they would have had Naomi.
Everybody.
They would have had everybody.
Nairobi. And stop jumping so far ahead. You keep jumping far ahead. You just said, I'm talking about parts 1 and 2, babe.
Well, I was responding to if you said that nobody made a mistake.
No. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the professor. When I said even the professor, I'm talking about the professor fell in love and stuff like that. Because when did he fall in love? I think it was like, I ain't gonna say fell in love, but when did he start breaking the rules of the plan? I think he started breaking the rules of the plan when it was like probably ending of part 1. Low-key probably ending of part 1, because that's when he started to fuck around with the goddamn, with the inspector, lesbian. That's when he started to mess around with her and shit like that. And I ain't gonna say that that's fucking with the plan, but knowing how love works and shit like that, it's like, it's hard for you to be playing both sides, and you never know who gonna flip, because the professor, he could have most definitely flipped on the gang. It was like, I'm trying to be with you the rest of my life and shit like that, but it just ended up turning out how it all ended up turning out and shit like that. So yeah, I just feel like I feel like if everybody would have stuck to the plan, this entire thing would have been flawless. Tokyo started messing up because she wanted to jeopardize. It's just everybody messed up. I think Helsinki. I can't think of anything Helsinki did. Parts 1 and 2, man, that Helsinki did that was other than when he tried to. I think when he tried to. Didn't he try to? No, he did. I don't think he even tried to kill. What's dude name who getting on my Arturo? Cause pissing me off.
He tried to kill Arturo because he said that.
Oslo. Yeah, because Arturo was always doing something, always he was always just trying to be the leader. He's not a leader. He was always trying to set somebody up. Hey, I got a phone here. You go here's this gun. Hold it. Trying to set people up and shit like that. And it's just like, that type of thing. I don't know. So yeah, that's as far as that goes. All right, y'all, we are back. We just had a little knock at the cabin. Knock at the door. Get it. Go check out that movie because it's a decent movie and shit. No cap. But no, I said it's a decent movie. What you talking about?
I said our vlog, Poppy.
Oh, yeah, go check out our vlog, too. No cap. Yeah, because we went to go see it. It's in the vlog. Just go check it out. But real shit, though. I don't know what the fuck I was talking about, but another thing I wanted to bring up about parts 1 and 2, Arturo. Arturo, he was just always the person that was just like, he was just a pest. He was a funny character, though. Granted, he was a funny ass character and shit like that. But he just was just like one of those pesty type of characters that just continued to he just wanted to poke the bear.
He wanted to be the hero.
Yeah, throw rocks, hide his hands. I ain't do it. That's what he was. He was like, throwing rocks at a glass house and then hide his hands and then looking over at the next person trying to op like, he did it. He did it. That's what he liked to do and shit like that. And it was, like I said, some of the shit he did was funny, and I feel like it was a good thing when what's his name, Helsinki, strapped his fucking chest with the C4 and scared his ass, spooked his ass like, hey, you keep this up, it's a wrap for your ass, and you're gonna really blow up. Even though C4 was fake, right. They ended up finding out that the C4 was fake and shit, but they didn't know that. I wouldn't test that shit out. I wouldn't play around with that like, right. Oh, this shit fake, because now I'm jeopardizing everybody, so I don't know, but yeah, so that's as far as that goes. As I said, towards the ending and shit, found out that Berlin and the professor were actually brothers. That was another little interesting ass spin.
Keep saying little brother.
Yeah, little brother. Yeah, that was that nigga, her phrase and shit.
Excuse me.
And then, damn, they disrespecting the fuck out of the professor. Where is he at on here? Damn, that's disrespectful. But I guess they
disrespecting Berlin too, aren't they?
No, because this one say part 5, so they ain't gonna have Berlin on here. But excuse me, but real shit though, they probably just only showing everybody who was actually inside.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, but technically, well, shit, we can this just could be the segue right here into parts 3, 4, and 5. Technically, he was in there for like 10 minutes. Oh my gosh. But real shit though, yeah, another thing that I real life fucked with, like the professor, like that nigga, his mind was just so like. Who was?
Wait, we're in part
3, 4, 5 now. Yeah, or the whole thing now. If you think of anything from parts 1 and 2, you can go ahead. It's everything now. So
I was gonna say I fucked with them until he was gonna surrender.
Yeah, and that was like, that's just like, it's just so much that he I just like his mind, just the way he thought about shit.
Yeah, luck in there too.
And he that's another thing too. He did have a lot of luck. You can't do none of this shit that they did without luck. All of them had luck, especially Tokyo. When Tokyo made it back to the prison, when the professor had her broke out of when they had her,
she drove them,
and she drove all. Cause man, I swear, give me a gun, and I'm one of them cops. I swear I'm whacking her. I'm shooting tires or something. You can't tell me that bullets move so fast and you not hitting her at all. Right. I get it, they probably wasn't aiming for her, but aim for the bike, spin her out or something. Like, no way she does all of that stuff and then gets right back into the prison. It don't make no sense. And then that's when I forgot.
She moved up for that.
Yeah. True shit. What was Denver dad name? I forgot. Do you remember his name? Moscow. Good shit. Mm-hmm. Moscow. That's when he met his doom. Yeah. And it seemed just like Tokyo.
And it was that bitch's fault.
Yeah, honestly. And it was her fault because it was her fault why she got kicked out, because she playing Russian roulette with Berlin's head. Like, she doing Russian roulette on Berlin. She could have killed him. And then guess what? Who know everything next to the professor is Berlin. So you can't kill the second leader in command. You can't do that, because you do that, the second leader in command knows things that you don't, that everybody else don't. So therefore, you doing that, and it's just like, come on now, So I really didn't like that phase of when Tokyo was doing that. And y'all gonna see, like I said, when we show y'all our tier list and shit, we just mainly talking about the show right now, and we gonna show y'all our tier list. But I just feel like Tokyo was really an up and down character, because it was a lot of times where she was hot,
doing some stupid shit,
and then there was a lot of times she was doing stupid shit. Like Bae just said, it's just like she just couldn't find that even ground, and that's why I ranked the bitch where I ranked the bitch. You know what I'm saying? So
right, she only found the even ground like kind of towards the end.
Yeah, and that was when she was and that's when she was real solid, when she but and then there was a lot, just a lot of different things that happened. And they parts 3, 4, and 5.
She pissed me off when she didn't want to go through the fucking
She
couldn't fit. Was it the fucking vent? I forgot what that shit was. But whatever the fuck that shit was. You
talking about the dumb waiter?
I was gonna say dumb waiter, but shit.
Yeah, dumb waiter, that shit
pissed me the fuck off.
But look, this is my thing though. They whacked her in both knees.
Yeah, but she can't get up. That bitch's nigga said that he would pick her up.
Yeah, he should have did it. I think he. That's why I said
he was about to, and then the bitch was like, "No, don't do it under or something like that."
But that's what I was saying.
So he just left. In
that situation, what I would have did was I would have said, "Fuck that, you coming with? I'm not leaving you." They left her and shit like that just because they knew if they would have stayed and shit and helped her fight, their life would have been at jeopardy, you know. So they left. Me personally, I would have told what's her name? Manila. I think that's her name. Oh. Manila. I would have told her, Denver's cousin, I would have told her to go down the dumbwaiter first. Then, no, actually, I'm lying.
Didn't that bitch say to throw some pillows?
Yeah, some pillows. They was trying. They did. I seen them grabbing. They grabbed cushions off the couch and they sat it down there and shit. And then they looking at her. Tokyo, jump! She can't fucking jump, my nigga. She shot in both legs. Like her shit gonna be. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she can get up and walk, but her shit gonna be hurting trying to get over there. You think, man? No, that's not. That shit was stupid. Them going down there and then thinking she was gonna actually go down there with them. Like no. That shit wasn't finna happen like that. Y'all knew she sat right there with that gun. What y'all thought she was gonna do? She was shot the fuck up. And I'm telling y'all, when that part was up, I should have recorded it. She was fucking free. She was like, damn, they shot the fuck out of her ass. I sure that shit was fucking hilarious. But she was like, shit. That shit was so funny. I'm sitting there over here rolling. But then again, I didn't want to be laughing. I just was laughing off her reaction. But it's Tokyo getting hit up. They treated Tokyo like I forgot her name off of what's that one movie called? I forgot what it's called and shit like that. C. Her name started with a C, and it was off that movie. I forgot what it's called and shit. But I think there was robbing banks on there and shit too. But yeah, they treated they shit. My motherfucking right eardrum shit. But real shit though. Yeah, but like I was saying, there's just like certain things like that. Like when Tokyo died and shit, that was a sad. She went out like a G though. She went out like a G. True. That's why I feel like I would have, if I was Denver, I would have grabbed Tokyo. I don't give a fuck how bad, because Denver tried. He tried to grab her, and she was like, "Stop! You're hurting me." She shot like 3-4 times possibly, and with sniper bullets at that. You know, so she shot with all of those. And then he trying to like lift her, and I know it's hurting, but man, I don't give a fuck. You coming with us? I don't care. You is coming with us. I swear I would have picked her up, sat her on that little dump. We would have got her up out of there. They would have, cause she was up in there by herself, bro. And it's just But like I said, she went out with like a G, took out all the pins, blew them up. Another character that was like shit. I told you. You remember when I told you he was gonna be a problem? That nigga. Yeah, him.
I was just sitting there like watching till he showed up on like throughout the show when he first showed up, and then I think it was like a little bit watched a little bit. I think, and then you were like, "Babe, pause it," and I was like, "What, Poppy?" And then you're like, "That nigga finna be a problem."
He gonna be a problem, and then what's the name? Told you he was gonna be a problem too. Berlin knew it all. You gotta listen. Yeah, you gotta listen. I told Bae, I was like, I would have food poisoned his ass or something. Made him have to stay home. He probably wasn't gonna do it and shit. But still, I would have like sickened the nigga or some shit like that because he was gonna like you just look at him like he was stuck by the governor's side. He was stuck by his side and he was not going like he wasn't on none of that with none of that bullshit, none of it. And
like then, you know what else was hard when. They were all in the office. I think they were all in the office, and then he was talking to Berlin, and he was like, "No, Berlin was like something," and then Gandhi was like, "If I noticed a threat, it would have been gone. Yeah, it would have been out this room. Yeah." And he just looked at Berlin and said that shit like, "Damn, like damn. Hey, if I noticed the threat, it would have been out this room. You know, like damn. Okay. So he's saying you wasn't on shit, boy. So hey, that shit was hard. That shit was hard.
Yeah. And then, but that's what I'm saying. It just matched up those two because both of them was playing chess. Like Gandhi knew what he was on, and Berlin knew I'm not coming in here to fuck with you right now. I'll do it later. Right yeah, not now. You know. But Unfortunately, Berlin and him never, you know, they never. And
how would you think that would be?
I swear, I was about to say that. Because I bet you Gandia don't even know. Shit. That would have been something for the professor or somebody to let him know that Berlin, like, bro, this is for my fucking brother. This was my brother. That shit would have been a nice ass full spin around. Yeah, if they would have did something, just something to let Gandia know, like have a flashback. Like, how did this all happen? And then thought about, oh shit, that was that car watching. That was that, you know, that was dude who was up in here. You know, that shit would have been clean as a bitch, no bullshit. But yeah, it's just so much. Like Gandia, like I said, he was a good ass character. I just like, you know how you said how we was talking about part 1 and 2, and how we were saying that the bank robbers and shit like that, how we was on their side, like, you know. So I was on Gandia's side, not wanting him to kill Tokyo and them, but I was on his side mainly because he was just like that character. It's like how Shane is to the Walking Dead. Like Shane, he was like a badass and shit like that. Like take no shit. But everybody else was so nice and calm. But Shane was just a badass and angry, mad guy and shit like that. And it's like, damn, I fuck with both sides of it. Like I fuck with the robber side and I fuck with Gandia wanting to stop all of this shit, you know? So, and that's why I said it's a good show when they got you locked in like that. We're just like, man, come on, which side you picking? Because I was 50-50, but I was mainly on the professor side just because I knew them a lot more and shit. But yeah, like I said, Gandia, I just didn't want him to kill nobody. And then when he got rid of she lost her shit too.
He was like, he was like, I told you I was gonna kill you.
You mutt. Yeah, that's what he kept calling.
That bitch thought that shit was sweet.
And then she was walking up too. She was walking up, and then she said, "Hey, mutt." He was like, "Hey, mutt," and she turned around. He said, "I said I was gonna kill you." She turned around, fire, and it was just like,
damn, shit.
That shit was tough. That shit was that shit hurt. I won't lie. It did another thing too. These niggas aim at shit because this man ran all the way across the room, did a whole front flip, a whole death roll and shit like that, and they still, and you know who? I swear.
And when you mentioned them to close in on her, not on her, on them,
on him, yeah.
He still got out.
Yeah, he still got out the thing. Like, and then I'm gonna bring that point up after. Guess who went up my list during that scene when he shot Nairobi?
When he shot Nairobi,
it was one character who went up my list right when he shot her. It was somebody who did something, and I was like, dog, he went up right up my list. Damn, I gave it away. It was a guy, Denver. It was Denver, baby. When Gandia shot Nairobi, he was like, everybody else was shooting guns. And then Gandia was running. Denver was like, he got a grenade. He said 10.
Oh, yeah.
And he started running. And I was like, he hawking this nigga down. Yeah. Go get him, Denver. Go get him. He said 1. Do it. And then he said, and then he said, he jumped. He said 0. And then it blew up. He hit Gandia with that. That's why Gandia had all them shards in his back and shit like that. And it was just like, Denver went on my list for that because it's just like, while y'all sitting there shooting and missing, he's hawking his ass down. Right. I know I may not catch him, but this grenade is going to do some damage. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's why I was just like, after you said he was going to be a problem or whatever, and I was watching through the whole shit all after that, after you said all that, and I'm like, when the fuck is he going to be a problem?
When he going to be the problem,
he's just being chained up and shit, and being held and all that shit.
And then, like, when? Another thing that kind of threw me.
That shit, I was like, that's when.
Exactly. And then another thing that kind of threw me, I was kind of lost, like, how what was his name? The leader who liked Berlin. Palermo. Every single time you give me the first letter, something like that, I was like Palermo. Yeah. So Palermo, when he was sitting down trying to help Gandia, I was sitting there confused because I was like, I would have thought Gandia knew about the thumb thing. Cause shit, even I knew about the thumb thing. Like, get out of handcuffs, you dislocate your thumb.
It seemed like he that shit. So like
I was thinking that he was like that. Yeah, and then he's sitting there like,
oh,
really? Like he was like new to this information. Right. I'm like, my nigga, I thought like maybe he mainly was focused on putting people in handcuffs, although he wasn't a cop. But maybe he was focused on putting people in handcuffs and never thought he would have been in them. So he like, but still, like if you in a situation like that and somebody robbed the Bank of Spain, you would think, all right, what if I'm in handcuffs? I need to know how to get out of these. Dislocate my thumb. You know, it's some shit I don't know, but. Yeah, and then in that moment, that's when Rio had to get dropped. I understand he's going through so much and shit like that, but Rio had to get dropped because he didn't shoot.
The fuck up.
Yeah, he did not shoot.
You're in a whole fucking heist.
He had the opportunity and he did not do it. You know, so
and you have your whole team too. You can't jeopardize that shit.
And they came to get you.
Right.
Just to get you.
On top of fucking that.
Oh yeah, on top of all that shit. And then the part that you were talking about when they should have. When what part was that? When
it's crazy how important your thumb is. Shit.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, sit down and think about it. But what part you was talking about the part when they were like he was in the middle, Gandia was in the middle. What part was that? When Gandia was in the middle, you were just talking about it, right? When Gandia was in the middle and they should have. I told you, I was telling you they should have pushed him. Like, how the hell did they get him like trapped like that? I forgot how it was and shit like that. But I know that they were having a little shootout and Gandia was in the middle. When did Gandia die?
Remember what part he died at?
Who, Gandia?
Yeah.
With Tokyo when she blew him up.
I know what part.
That was all the way at the end.
Part 5?
Yeah, most of that part 5. Yeah.
So maybe it was.
And I ain't looking about what part, but I'm just saying like how did they get into that position? Was Gandia out trying to kill somebody? Because I remember he tied up. I remember he tied up Helsinki and tried to choke out Helsinki, and then they saved Helsinki and shit like that. And then Nairobi was kind of stupid too for.
I think that's when he captured Tokyo. Was it? No.
He captured Tokyo when she took charge and shit like that. When Tokyo had took charge and she was out looking for him. And then he knocked her over the back of the head, and then
but still when they were still trying to protect Nairobi.
Yeah. Because after that, when they start running all to Helsinki, I believe they start running to Helsinki. Yeah. That's when he went to go back to get Nairobi.
Yeah, and I think that's when he put her head through the door.
Yeah,
and they were all.
Yeah, and that was another scene too. That was another scene too. No, not when he went to go get Nairobi, because when he did that, Nairobi started stabbing him with that thing, and then when she started stabbing him in his neck with that thing, they all started running back and shit like that. And then that lady came out the bathroom that was helping Nairobi. That lady came out the bathroom, and then he started running. He went back to the thing where I think he went back. No, that was after he killed Nairobi. That was after he shot Nairobi in the head and shit like that. But it was just, I don't know. It was just like a lot of shit that happened. And then the scene when Denver and Rio is in the vent and shit.
Because their dumbasses kept splitting up. Yeah. Like, oh, you and you, go over here.
Yeah, and that shit was stupid. You can't do that. Like, you gotta stick together. And I get it. You cover more ground and shit, but y'all gotta stay together. Right. This nigga's trained to kill. Got him. He's a hitman. Yeah. You know, he's a hitman and shit like that. He's trained to kill. So therefore, since he's trained to kill and shit like that, he's gonna try separating is the best thing for him. Especially if you're gonna put two sorry niggas with each other. Right. That's the best thing for him, because he just gonna pick you off one by one. Especially if it's two soft motherfuckers, he going to get them first. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
That's why we were like debating on why did that bitch Rio go with was it Denver? I think with Denver.
Yeah, Denver. Yeah, but I respect that. I respect that because Denver ain't no hoe.
Yeah, and then you're like, well, you have to have a
somebody who's gonna do who about that shit with a soft nigga. You know, Rio was a soft nigga, and then Denver was about that shit. You know what I'm saying? So I rocked out with that combination of shit. I just didn't like how Rio was so goddamn unstable, and then when Denver looked at him, hey, we gonna get through this together. Right. We got this. That's when I was like, see, Denver just continued to move up. But yeah, it was just so much.
That bitch ended up lying.
Who?
Like about like part of his story when how they beat him up.
Oh, I think that was a part of that was
true or some shit.
Yeah, I think it was just he was just withholding it. He was withholding it and shit like that mainly because when I was watching this shit, the shit that I got from it, he was withholding that information mainly because he was broken by it. They broke him. You know, he was broken by it, so that's why he withheld that information. But then Stockholm sitting and talking to him, he told Stockholm about it, and then Stockholm was like, "Oh shit, we can use this," you know. And then they used it, and then boom, they used it to their advantage. And then I also want to talk about with Lisbon when they was climbing up the tree.
I hate that bitch.
when she was they was climbing up. Oh my goodness! But they was climbing up the tree and shit like that, and she fumbled that bag. I won't hold you because the professor made it up there. That was a clean ass plan. That. Professor made it up there. She went to go hide in the barn, and then she has to negotiate, and then the stupid bitch talking about some. No, there's somebody in our barn. Lisbon is in our barn, or whatever the fuck she was saying. Then it was just like, bro, come on, man. And then, that's when it all went down from there. And then they tried to trick the professor, and that's the shit I be talking about. When Tokyo did that shit, she went right back up my list. When I said she got some high highs and low lows, she went right back up my list because when the professor was running, and then they was like, boom, boom. He was like, Lisbon, just stay alive. And then they fake shot Lisbon, and then the professor was broken, and then the professor had told them what happened, and then Tokyo was like, hey, they just did exactly what you've been doing to them the whole time.
Oh, tricky.
And then and then that shit, when they said that, and the professor was like, he put his glasses back on straight. He stood up like, and then that's when he started making the game plan again. And it's just like, he's like, hey, this is war. Yeah, no, he said it was war before that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But he knew that he had to expose their ass for all that bullshit. I recorded everything. I heard everything y'all said and shit like that. It's over for y'all ass, you know. Right. So it was just like that entire thing that the professor was just doing. It's just like the only thing that ever fucked with me was when he would get unmotivated. When he get unmotivated because something like that shit with Lisbon. When he was too far in love and shit like that, where Lisbon would literally just like be so stuck on that nigga that he just couldn't nowhere else. He was like, hey, if Lisbon died, it's over. It's a wrap for all of this shit, you know. Then the shit that she was saying when he was getting ready to surrender at the end, that was some bitch shit too. I didn't understand. It was like when he was doing that.
Niggas, his team was
real.
They was
like, ready.
Pick up those guns.
Yeah.
There's like 4 cars. We can handle them. Even though the bitch said that there's probably gonna be more cars, but
because that's the truth. The thing too. He said it's 4 now. Next is gonna be 10, then 20, then 50, you know, and shit like that. I understood that, but I just didn't understand. I would have at least said, hey, let's slide over to the side. Let them pull up into our operation and shit like that, and then we figure it out that way. I don't think I would have just straight up surrendered like that, because I'm thinking he finna surrender, and then once they touch him, he gonna, do some karate shit or something, knock all their ass out, but nah, they got put into the back of the thing. Then that's when they got put into the back of the thing. And that's when they noticed, wait, hold on. We've been sitting here for like 15, 20 minutes. What the fuck? And then they noticed that the gold was stolen from them. And then that's when everything started to clink. Oh, shit, it was Berlin's ex-wife and Berlin's son and shit. And it was just so much that, all of that shit just went on. And it was just like, damn, they real life did that. And it was like, and then I like that full circle moment. Because the professor was telling Berlin, don't do that. Don't tell her shit.
So technically, he was the first one that broke the fucking plan.
Yeah, right. So he was telling her, don't tell her shit. He told her about his plan. Berlin told her about Berlin's plan and shit like that. And then after he told her and shit like that, she had that plan in her head for the longest. Right. They didn't know, and then that's how they found where they hit the gold.
Right.
Because they didn't know that this bank was about to be hit. They didn't know that this bank is. But they knew if anybody was gonna do it, it was gonna be Berlin. They probably didn't know if Berlin was alive or not and shit like that. But I'm pretty sure that shit went out into the news and shit. But yeah, real shit though. They probably didn't know he was gonna be alive. But they're like, oh shit, somebody's actually hitting this motherfucker. So if they do, this is the full plan and this is how we gonna take it. They bought that house, and then that's how exactly they pulled up on it. Yeah. They some bitches, but they some bitches. They some I say they some bitches for doing that shit. But that shit, I give credit where credit is deserved. That shit is
there is some credit there.
BDBME, no bullshit. It's just and that
was
grinding.
Your son was fucking decline all that shit. Like, no, we can't. Yeah. No robbing. And then you end up being with your fucking dad's
girlfriend, wife, shit. And that shit, that shit.
Then you switch sides to robbing.
Yeah, and then you gonna be a thief and shit like that, and then you gonna steal your dad's plan. You ain't even take action and go do none of this shit yourself. You just go steal the plan. And that was, like I said, that entire thing was just
and give them credit.
Yeah, like you said, give credit where credit is deserved and shit like that, and just give it to them and shit. Cause it's just like I don't know, certain things that like I said, give respect for it all and shit. But
and then when that bitch flipped it on the professor when she said, "Well, you can't really say that because we were in bed and you told me what."
Yeah, you told me. Yeah.
One of the planes.
And then he flipped it right back on her. Hey, can't tell you everything.
Oh yeah.
Certain things ain't meant to be said, and I was like, damn, he got your ass right back. That's what I'm talking about with the professor. He got his respect, gotta be given and given. Like,
right.
Get that nigga his flowers. You know what I'm saying? Because that nigga literally, like, it wasn't shit that he didn't think of. And the only way that they got out of all of the shit they was in is if he was locked in, and he was locked in majority of the time and shit like that. Times where he was fucked up, he got remotivated and then went back and shattered everybody's brain. Just fucked their entire brain up. Just like, damn, how the hell we get out of this shit? He got you. He dead ass got you and shit, you know.
And then when he says that we were gonna release these many missiles, I thought there were actually gonna be missiles.
Oh my god.
But then he did it a smart way, smarter than what it would have been if it was real missiles.
Right. Shit. He was just simply going through each phase and just fucking them all up.
They give a fuck way more about their fucking reputation.
About their reputation and all of that. And then Alicia and shit like that, when she was she changed sides and
she was a bitch at first.
Yeah, she was a bitch. She was. Yeah.
I was like, okay, she doing all this shit pregnant.
Her. Yeah, and the thing that I respected her with was she went and got the professor. She got that nigga. And if you think about it, if she would have
by herself too.
By herself. So think about this. She went and got the professor by herself. Imagine if the colonel never ratted on her and did all of that fake shit and tried to put her name, she would have still went and got the professor, and y'all all would have got the professor, and it would have all been all good and shit. She just needed that little. I think all she needed was that chip on her shoulder. She needed something to push her a little bit more.
Yeah, you know? Just like she needed that little motivation to push her a little bit more. That chip on her shoulder. During the end of the episode where she was like, I can't find the gold. I'm tired. I'm this.
And then the professor got
like,
on her ass.
Bitch, listen.
Yeah.
You're that shit. You found me when the government and the whole shit couldn't find me. You can find that fucking gold.
Yeah. And what she do?
Found
that fucking gold. Yeah. And it's just the little. That's why I said that show is just so amazing, just because of the little, just the little shit. It's just like how would somebody sit? And I swear every little turn and corner that they was taking and making and shit like that, I'm like, all right, what? Because you know how a show can have some bullshit writing. It's hard for me to kind of find any bullshit writing unless you can remember me calling some shit out.
Yeah, you called one thing out recently. I forgot
what it was too.
You called something out.
But I think whenever I would call it out, they had a reason for it. It was like a valid reason. It could be like, unless this. But they had a valid reasons for it. I forgot what it was. I think I called two things out that was like, hold on. Why wouldn't they? And the third thing I can call out is, of course, but I can't even really say that because it's a TV show. All these bullets that's been missed. Like, my nigga, come on. Somebody got to get hit.
Right.
All these bullets that's being shot and shit like that, you telling me ain't nobody getting hit. I thought humans wasn't faster than bullets. You know what I'm saying? And how, and these is professional. Like, that shit threw me. How you have 8 of your best soldiers in the world go into the Bank of Spain, and pretty much all 8 of them end up like being non-factors. Plus Gandia. How do niggas who rob banks fuck it? Because it's the professor, mastermind. And the professor couldn't even see no more because Gandia fucked up the circuits and shit like that. Yeah. So it's the professor, his mind was just so complex that he was able to do all this shit. And we gotta, of course, give credit to the ones that's inside, because especially Tokyo, when she blew all them up, because she blew them up. Yeah. But shout out to Denver and Manila for popping the thing off the thing and sitting it up there, because without that there's just certain pieces. You remember when they were inside of the the crew of them 8 guys who had came in, the professional military crew or whatever, when they went in there, you remember when they separated them? They had separated the two. They separated Denver, Manila, and Tokyo, and then Rio, Palermo, and all of them was on the other side. Lisbon, they was all on the other side and shit like that. They went after Denver, Rio, and Tokyo because they was all in the kitchen. Not Rio and Tokyo. Denver, Tokyo, and Manila. It was all in the kitchen. And then you remember when she had the door closed, and then the dude was like, "Shoot that door down." And then dude had pulled out that big gun. He said, start blasting up the door. And then Denver and Manila, Denver was like, the countertop. And then Denver, they popped the countertop off the thing and they sat it up against the door. And then Denver was like, "Manila, we're gonna lift this up." They both lifted it up, and then they put that bar over it so that they couldn't get through. And then they was like, "It's cast iron. Don't try and shoot at it and shit like that." And they were saying, "What?" When they were in the kitchen, where Tokyo got shot the fuck up at. I remember
seeing the fucking kitchen.
Man, they were in the kitchen. You remember when Tokyo caught the motherfucking grenade and she threw it through that little? That was the countertop.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the countertop. And I don't know if you probably, I don't know, it's probably like just missing on you and shit like that. But that countertop was only there because you remember, dude said, "Shoot that door down." They pulled out a big gun and they shot the fuck out that door. So therefore, it was just pure holes inside that door. And that big gun knocked damn near all them holes out. So they could have easily just walked through that door, you know? So then Denver was like, "Pop the countertop off." Pop the counter. They slid something in the middle of it. Denver got like a little mallet. He hit it through the little thing, lifted up the countertop. They slid off the countertop, and then they lifted it up and slid it up against the door. And then I think they got a bar and sat it on it so that they couldn't just walk up and open it up and shit. And then, but yeah, and that was one of the hardest scenes. Like Tokyo most definitely went up for that shit too when she caught that grenade and threw it right back through. And I was like, that shit hard as fuck.
I was thinking of this earlier when she unhooked the pin to that grenade and then she was talking to Gandia.
Yeah, and then that's when it was over. She looked at him and she was like, she winked her eye, and then he looked at the thing. He was like, "Grenade!" Killed 5. She killed herself, and 5 other soldiers, 5 others. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the only thing with that just get a little spooky. Like,
what?
How? Like, it's 8. Like, bro, y'all professionally trained. All these niggas do is right. Yes, they've been shooting and practicing, but y'all, this y'all life. Y'all are military soldiers. Y'all live this. You know what I'm saying? And for them to still win that, I get it. There were reasons why they won that and shit like that. Because you got the professor's brain. But, man, bullets, I get it. Bullets ain't got no name. No bullets got names on it. They don't got name tags and shit like that. But just the simple fact that I know there were billions of bullets just missed that should have been shot. Like Gandia, they was damn near standing in the middle when Gandia shot Nairobi. How the hell y'all shooting heavy artillery guns that go faster than fucking light damn near? Not faster than light, but go super fast and shit like that out that fucking gun. If you don't hit Gandia when he running and rolling and shit in front of y'all, like, come on, you know, it's just. But that's why I said I can't say like come on to that because it's a TV show. Every TV show has that. They got guns in it. Every TV show has that. Every movie has it and shit like that. You know. So that's as far as that goes. I don't know. It was just so many. It's so much shit. Like Tokyo doing that shit when she wins. She sacrificed her life. Nairobi, she fucked up because she got hit one time in the shoulder or something like that. It was somewhere.
And not just because she's dead.
Yeah. And she just, it was just so much shit that just in Nairobi, she was, like I said, she was a real one and shit. And then she was like one of my favorite characters and shit. Like, cause she was just solid. She was just she stuck to the plan. She believed in the professor. She was one of them people that what did she do wrong? Like,
she did get it into a relationship. Though.
Ooh.
But Pagoda, whatever the fuck.
Oh no, he said. You remember parts 3, 4, and 5? Professor didn't care about that no more. You remember when he was talking? He was like, first of all, no relationships. And then the professor and Lisbon looked at each other, and then they start laughing. And then Stockholm and Denver start laughing. They was just like, oh shit, forget that rule. You know that didn't matter to them no more. Why you think what's the name? They was up in there trying to get Buddy to fuck with Lisbon. They was trying to get dude to fuck with Lisbon. Yeah, him. Yeah. So they didn't care about that rule no more. So Nairobi, she was like, I'm trying to think, what else did Nairobi do?
Her dumbass went to the fucking window.
Yeah, you're right. So I was about to say that point, and when she was trying to take over command over.
Bitch, you ain't built like that.
Yeah, when she was trying to take over command over Berlin, I understood it because, like I said, she was the one who was gonna stick to the plan and not like bullshit around. But you gotta have a special set of leadership skills. People gotta be behind you, and if you only got Helsinki and maybe Rio or somebody in Tokyo maybe behind you, no, they looked at Berlin as the leader, not Nairobi. Nairobi was cool. She was a nice person and shit like that, but not no leader. Where it's like, oh shit, we following you. You know, Berlin. No matter how much Berlin got on their nerves, guess who they always ran back to? Berlin, because they know. All right, you know more than we do. You the leader. We gonna follow you. You know. So, yeah, that's
like he's like the professor on the inside.
Yeah, exactly. He just ain't got the brains like the professor and shit like that, but he got the brains like the professor and shit like that. You know, because if anything, he's more bolder than the professor because he's stepping inside those walls and dealing with all of that shit. You know, so, but yeah, it was just, you know, as far as all of that stuff goes. I think I don't know. I'm trying to think towards the ending how they got out and shit. Like, she wasn't tricked. I tried to trick her and shit like that and be like, gotcha, nigga. They all they did, but she wasn't falling for it and shit like that. She was like, you ain't finna trick me. When the colonel, he had to accept that deal, and she was geeked up over that one part with the colonel and the professor.
Oh yeah, if we both lose, we both win.
She was geeked off of that shit. She talking about some top 10 all time. Top 10 all time. Like, get the fuck out of here. Now. It was hard, but it wasn't like, no, oh my goodness. You know what I'm saying? It was. You know, so, excuse me, but yeah, real shit though. It's just like, that entire sequence, just like how and that was another hard thing about a professor too. Like, he knew if we get caught, we just gonna bargain this gold. That's how we gonna get our freedom. You know?
The biggest hostage.
Exactly. Like that's how we gonna get our freedom and shit. Not just like how that entire thing. He brought the gold back. I was thinking that. I was sitting there thinking like, what if they test this gold? You know, like what if they test it and they see that it's fake? Colonel ended up bringing the brass plated, the gold plated brass up inside the place and shit. Like, I told you, and all that shit. And it was just like, and then the governor ended up getting in his head like, hey, this gonna be on you. Like, we gonna both lose, and once we both lose, you gonna lose the heaviest. You know what I'm saying? So that shit right there was some shit like that I was just sitting there like, whoa, that's some hefty shit. You know what I'm saying? And then for the colonel to end up folding, and that shit was deep as hell to me as well when he was sitting there talking about how he was the professor, manipulation skills, how he was looking at the colonel and he was like, hey, yeah, it's fake, but you telling me, I'm telling you this now, that fake gold is gonna stop this country from going down, like money wise. Yeah, exactly. So just because y'all know, like, that's gonna just allow it to be another state secret. When he was like, this shit gonna be with the next president, this shit gonna be with the president 20 years from now, 40 years from now, 50 years from now, that shit 70 years from now. He said that shit was deep as hell to me because I was just sitting there like, damn. That's how all of this shit get made. All these little behind the door deals and shit that certain people just gotta die with. You can't say shit, and you say shit, and motherfuckers look at you like, get the fuck out of here. Like, if right now if somebody told us that it's $1 billion inside of an Egyptian temple, like, get the fuck out of here. Until somebody actually busts in that motherfucker and take it, and it's just like, oh shit, it really was, you know. Or it's just so many, and that ain't even no state secret for real, because it could be, but I'm talking about real state secrets where it's like those 3 parts, 3, 4, and 5, those 3 parts was predicated. That's a big ass word. Those 3 parts was predicated on how important those state secrets was. Because you remember early on, they wanted Gandia and them to go out there with the state secrets so that they know, don't fuck with us because we got this shit. You know what I'm saying? Then, he didn't, and Denver had to go out there and do it. Yeah. And then he showed them, and they like, what the fuck is that? And they're like, what the fuck is that? Suitcases? And they're like, no, that's state secrets. Like, I mean, country secrets or whatever the fuck. Like, we cannot allow that shit to get out there. You know, because this, you know, and then they was talking about allies, and there's just so much shit that was bigger than all of them. Right. That's why they could not fuck with that. Because the reason why that fake gold was there was because I think it was so much more within it. The professor was just pretty much saying that all of that fake gold and shit like that they was gonna take all that fake gold and put it somewhere, and it was gonna be inside of a certain market. And since all that shit was gonna be in a certain market, the country's money value and all that stuff was gonna go down. It was something, I forgot what it was, but like the value of their money would go down, and since the value of their money, crisis. Yeah, the debt crisis, all of that shit, and then after that, it was just like, oh shit, but you have fake gold in there and shit like that. Nobody gonna know that, right? Because they ain't buying that gold back. They ain't spending no money on that gold. That gold is just sitting there, you know. So it's just material, and that shows how material it is when you can just take stuff and you not going to that gold and saying, all right, here, we finna pay this country off with all this gold. No, it's just material. And that's all the professor exposed. Like, nigga, y'all living off of materialistic shit when we can just take brass, gold, plated brass, sit it right back up inside y'all Bank of Spain and then be cooling with it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. That's as far as that goes and shit.
It's an illusion.
Yeah. And that's all it is. That's all it ever was and shit like that. Them just sitting there looking at it like, damn, what can we do with this? It's brass, and y'all wasn't doing shit with it anyway. Where right. To the point where it's gonna flood. What the fuck is the point? Like, what is the point of that?
I don't know.
Shit is crazy, you know. And it was just like, and then another thing, I wonder what the professor wrote on that letter to his nephew.
Oh, you?
Yeah, I felt like I felt like it was that when he said, "Yeah, we family and shit." I felt like it was something like that. Just by the way he looked at his new girl, which is Berlin's ex-wife and shit, like the way he looked at her and said, "Family is family" or something like that. I felt that's what the professor wrote down on a little note to him and shit. That's what I felt and shit.
But didn't we say we want to look it up?
Yeah, but we'll figure it out and shit. But yeah, man, I don't know, but yeah, that's as far as that goes and shit. And I another thing real quick, I fuck with how Alicia joined they little crew and shit. She had reasons to. Yeah. She also had reasons to leave.
She said she would never be on the run or whatever, especially now that she's pregnant or some shit like that. She said, but bitch, you ended up being that shit.
Yeah, but she ain't on the run no more. Not no more. Not at the ending of it. Yeah, they got a whole different lives and shit like that just because of the deal they cut.
And that's that stupid shit that Tokyo said.
What?
We don't need to rob no more.
Yeah, that dumb shit. Yeah, that was some bullshit. Because I was like, y'all didn't even need to rob. Yeah, they didn't even need. The only reason why they did it was because the Professor Pride was in the way because of Berlin, right? And they wanted to go get Rio back, you know. And since Professor Pride was in the way about Berlin, Bank of Spain playing and shit like that, since that shit was in the way, he just sat back and was like, "Hey, fuck it, we can use this to go get Rio back," you know. So, right. Yeah. So yeah, as far as that shit goes and shit like that, as I said real quick, I fuck with how Alicia got brought into the fold because she went and got the professor, and then after that phase and shit like that, she needed help. They helped her. She's like, all right, cool, y'all help me and shit. She snaked him and left out the door. Got the professor. Then she was getting ready to turn his ass in, and then the professor helped her ass out once again when he snuck out that fucking car, and then he helped her out like, shut the fuck up, give me the baby, shut the fuck up. And then got her out the what's the name. They climbed down the little thing, and then they had to stay up in the little room together. Smooth BDB and me mode when they got that motherfucking garbage truck through the what's the name. That was the other flaw I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
That was the other flaw that I was talking about. Like how would they allow that? How would they allow, like, I don't give a fuck what it is, government official, like, man, these is the two most wanted, like with the governor. But there is a lady who used to be with us, and there is the most wanted man in the world in the professor. The professor and her are on this street, on this block somewhere. We can't let nobody in, we can't let nobody out, but you let a garbage truck in. And I get it, it's just a garbage truck. You would say that, but we can. Y'all gotta do y'all route tomorrow or something, because we cannot allow nobody in. Y'all gotta do y'all route when we get done, and go call your boss, because y'all got bosses and shit like that. We got the government behind us. We got the police behind us. Y'all not entering through here. So that's the flaw that I'm looking at. Like, how you let a garbage truck get through out of anything, and then they took them right in front of your face. And I get it, you don't see that. They didn't see it was people coming out them garbage cans, you know, and a baby and shit. But I just didn't get that. Another thing that kind of threw me was the baby crying. It was just like
I was bring
the
that
baby
shit
is
up
going,
too.
you know, when
they
they
were
was
under the bed.
Yeah, it's just like
not the bed, but the fucking couch.
That's luck. That's what I was talking about when I said he got lucky, because that's luck right there. When
they thought it was
in
the
there,
cat.
It's the newborn baby,
right?
You know, and it was the cat the second time around because they punched up and shit like that. Somebody punched up and the cat jumped up and was like meow or some shit like that, you know. But it's just, and then that's when they thought it was the cat. But it's a newborn baby, and for the newborn baby not to cry, it's just like that's the luck that I said when I was like, he got lucky. The professor got lucky a handful of times and shit like that, because little shit like that just wasn't adding up like that. They allowed the garbage truck to go through. I think that was a little piece. The rest of their writing skills was just flawless because they had reasons for it. But that little one piece right there with that garbage shit was just like a little scratch on the head and shit. Because I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm letting that shit through. If it's me and I'm the leader of this shit. Now, if I'm the leader and I low-key want these niggas to win, come on. I know what's going on and shit.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I'm saying? That's what I would do. But I'm not letting that shit through if I know deep down I'm trying to catch these niggas. Y'all niggas done gave me too much of a headache. I'm trying to catch y'all and shit, you know?
Y'all done killed too much of my men.
Right. Shit. And we ain't finna allow this shit to happen and shit. So that's exactly why I sat back and said that. But yeah, man. But yeah, now we finna get into, because we've been sitting here talking about that shit for an hour. But granted, it's 40 fucking episodes. So shit, yeah.
Right.
But who tier list you wanna do first, man?
Mine.
Okay, so we're gonna do Bay's tier list first. This is Bay's tier list. Now, as I said.
Oh yeah, you're gonna point.
Yeah.
We ain't know who this bitch nigga was.
Yeah, we don't. I don't know who this kid is. I don't know who the little kid is.
I said it was probably
Cincinnati.
They're
Cincinnati. Cincinnati.
Well, they probably don't know who's from. What the fuck is her
Denver
name?
and Stockholm.
Monica.
Yeah, Denver and Stockholm's kid. Yeah, that's who Bay said that we thought this little kid is. Well, that's who she thought the little kid was. I ain't saying that and shit because I don't remember Cincinnati growing the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if y'all know who the fuck that is, comment it down below because we not sure. But yeah, start from the back end of irrelevant.
You said that. Oh, that's the wife. Okay, got it. Well, we pretend that's the wife.
Yeah.
But him, wasn't he the leader at first?
Yeah, and he folded. He was like, I'm done with this shit. Yeah. Because he was like, I can't do this.
Yeah,
shit
he started getting fucking irrelevant. He was on like, I don't even know how many episodes. I'm just say fucking 2 max. Yeah,
he'll pop up. I think he was in almost every episode. He'd just pop up for like 10 seconds and then just be in the background and shit, like just watching and shit.
And and his ass folded when he was on that stage talking to the shit. Folded like
they had his ass up there shaking.
Right.
But it says on this right here that, you know, they was just had his ass up there shaking.
I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
That shit was funny.
And did that
this we gonna say that's
the wife.
Yeah, the wife of Berlin ex-wife.
She's irrelevant because she only showed up like here and there throughout, and it was only in flashbacks. And then she actually showed up in like the last episode when it turned out that she stole the gold and all that shit. And that's when, like you said, credit where it's due. That's where the respect kind of went up, and that's when she would get added to the list. But I didn't even add her to that shit. Mm-hmm. But that's when she got added to this shit. And then what were you gonna say, Bobby?
No, because I just seen something that you got me fucked up on.
Oh my gosh, of course. And then Angel, that bitch is fucking irrelevant as fuck. Cause all he did was flirt with Raquel or Lisbon, and get in a car crash because he was in his fucking feelings, and try and catch his old friend or whatever the fuck, which is Lisbon. And he was controlling that shit, even though you weren't in a fucking relationship with the bitch, and you're in a relationship with your whole wife, and I think you had a kid. I don't fucking remember, but yeah. And then who the fuck? Oslo. That nigga irrelevant because he was only he didn't even last long.
He just irrelevant, yeah.
He didn't even last long at all.
Now pause.
What?
Pause. Nairobi. You fucking crazy, babe.
Switch.
Come on, babe.
No,
do not disrespect. Don't disrespect. Do not. Why are you disrespect? Like, come on.
Disrespecting the fuck out of her. She did some shit that made me dislike her throughout the whole show. I don't remember what the shit was, but yeah, probably. And especially when she knocked out. I mean, you said that you understood the shit when she knocked out.
Did you understand why? Berlin.
Yeah, because you said she wanted to be the leader. She wanted to follow the rules.
Yeah, and Berlin was going off track, so she had to do something.
But yeah,
she had to do something. Berlin took Rio and was about to kill him.
Well, that's not the reason, but shit.
Kill Rio. It took Rio and was about to kill him and shit like that. Well, it was about to kill him and fuck up the professor plan and shit like that.
John wouldn't give a fuck.
He sent Berlin sent off Denver to go kill Stockholm. Like, Berlin was fucking up the plan. He was not sticking to the plan. Nairobi knocked his ass out for a reason. You are tweaking.
No, I'm not.
Y'all, this is why I say. This is exactly why I said her list be ass. You, babe, your last one, we did October Faction, your last list was shit just because of my boy Fred. Your list is shit just because you have Nairobi and Irrelevant. Nairobi is I'm not saying like she's the best character. I ain't saying it like that. But she's done more. She made it all the way to like part 4. She was in part 1, 2, 3, and 4. How do you have people that has only been in parts 3, 4, 5? These are the ones who should be irrelevant. Hey, Alicia. That's a 4, 5.
I already explained that shit because she did her shit.
Gandia, 3. He only been in 3.
He was a problem.
Yeah, he was a problem and shit like that. Who else? And look, when we put irrelevant, just because a person is trash and shit like that, I feel like we should change that. Because just because a person is trash, that doesn't mean that they above the irrelevant characters. They're irrelevant. We put that at the bottom just because they're irrelevant. They just, well, in our thoughts, in my thoughts, she fucking up with Nairobi being there. But because irrelevant means that, like, I barely remember seeing you. Nairobi was a main character. You think of Nairobi, she was a main character. Like, that's what my irrelevant means. Whenever I think of it, she got a different definition. Because Angel ain't irrelevant either, I don't think. Because he was in it and shit like that. He was just, he was literally in every season. I don't know how you can call him irrelevant. He was in every season.
He was the fucking...
He was a background ass. He was a background ass nigga, but like he was just mad, But hey, this your fucked up ass list. So you can have it.
That's why that bitch left you. Huh.
Oh my goodness.
I think the only
No. Here.
Oh, that bitch. Because he wanted to be like you said, he wanted to be the hero so much, and he wanted to set people up here and there, and he drugged.
Yeah, that
people,
shit.
And he kept getting high on himself too, and
Nah, wait, yeah, Arturo. What I gotta say? No, go ahead. This show list. Go ahead.
Oh, and we don't know if he actually did the shit, but how just like with the bitch that was with Berlin, we don't know if they actually did the shit. I think it was maybe it was that one. Like raped.
She
one
did,
of the hostages.
Yeah. She did, yeah.
Shit, so.
That shit, yeah.
And he kept forcing himself on Stockholm and shit.
That shit, yeah. I agree with that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I was about to say Arturo. I was about to say he did. I think he did actually do that and shit.
What, rape?
Like, yeah, because she was talking, just the way she was talking about it and shit, and how he acted. Like, come on, I didn't. Come on, I didn't do that. It's just like, man, you make yourself suspicious when you do shit like that, and it's just like, of course he gonna deny it. Yeah, that.
And that's what made me.
Yeah.
Well, I was 50-50 on believing him or not.
Yeah, because you can't just because if somebody accused somebody of some shit like that, you gonna snap. Like, why the fuck would you even, like Berlin? But how Berlin took it, he didn't get mad. He was just, you're gonna do that to me. The way he was talking, like, bro, I ain't sweating this. I know I ain't do this shit. But he was sweating it heavy. Like,
getting angry as fuck.
Yeah, but I guess it's just certain people. Cause somebody, like, I snap. And then to the point where I will snap. Like, don't fucking play with me. That shit is demoralizing. Him, you look at him and you just know he a funny, goofy ass nigga. It's just like, but my thought process is why? Why would he? Just don't understand it.
Shit weird.
Yeah.
maybe want to get back at well, that's probably ain't the reason, but he probably maybe want to get back at Stockholm. Oh shit. And then so yeah, those are the reasons why I put him in trash. And then
and these are ranked, by the way.
Yeah, ranked. And then Lisbon's ex-husband.
Oh yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah.
Lisbon's ex-husband. The only reason I put him there is because one, he's relevant, and two, because and I'm just remembering that he was like they said that he was the best
in his area or something like that.
Yeah, whatever the fuck he was in. And then forensics, right? I think it was forensics. And then, but yeah, the main two reasons, I just thought of the one reason, but the main two reasons, the relevant shit, and you're smooth, your shit, was because the bitch said that he was abusive. Yeah. And controlling and shit. So. And then, don't get me started on this bitch.
Yeah, this bitch.
This fucking bitch here. She
don't honestly.
She kept wanting to fucking save the bitch in his life, like fucking Arturo and all that shit. What the fuck was? Oh yeah, Arturo. I think it was just Arturo. Like all the shit this bitch did to all of you and all that shit, and wanted to jeopardize the fucking Nairobi with giving the blood and shit. Then when you tested the bitch, it came out to be that he wasn't the right blood type for the bitch, and then you had so many chances to kill him, and you wanted to point the gun at him and threaten him, all that shit. And then when your boyfriend Denver, I think, what the fuck?
Pressed him.
Yeah, pressed him, I think, or some shit. And was about to kill him or some
shit.
Oh, beat him up. Yeah, beat him up. Yeah. And then you wanted to get fucking defensive and shit over the bitch.
Why would you do that?
Are you fucking serious? And he be forcing himself on you? Are you fucking serious? And he, what the fuck the bitch do? Oh, and the bitch, got high through the whole fucking shit. Not through the whole
towards
show, but
the ending.
Yeah, towards
it was
the
just
whole
like crazy, yeah.
shit. And then she wanted to laugh and shit after they just got the fucking news that Tokyo died.
That
and all
ain't
that shit.
But I wouldn't put that was the drugs talking. That's still her fault and shit.
Yeah,
but she
still
wasn't
her
really.
Fucking fault.
Yeah, she wasn't.
And then
really,
that shit. And then she was like, she was making the excuse of like, I just wanted the pain to go away and all that shit. Yeah. Bitch, don't you fucking think everybody else in this fucking motherfucker is dealing with fucking pain like you? Dumb bitch.
Yeah. You through? Go ahead.
Rio's just there because his bitch ass lied about that tiny part about the fucking. Well, at least I think he lied about that tiny part about the fucking with him beating him up or whatever the fuck. And
no, wait, he didn't lie about that. They actually whooped this shit.
Then where did the fucking scars go then? Because then they were like, didn't you get beat up? Where the fuck are the scars at? Don't look like you got no scars.
Because I think the scars heal.
No shit, whatever.
They heal. I think they were in that thing for 2 months. I think they had Rio for 2 months. So the scars is most definitely gonna heal after 2 months. I think the thing that Rio lied about was he lied and told them he didn't tell them everything. He lied and just said, because you remember when the professor was like, tell us everything that happened and don't leave out a detail. He didn't tell them that they was getting ready to bury him alive. He didn't tell them that because he felt that was about to break him and shit like that. So that's what I think. I think they actually whooped this shit. But he just didn't tell them about the thing when they was getting ready to bury him alive because he's like, that shit was about to break me. You know, that shit was going to kill me inside. But I'm not sure. You can, you know. But yeah, you can stick to your... Oh
my gosh, sorry. And then the other only reason why he's trash is because his bitch ass bitch the fuck up when fucking Gandia was running up the shit. And what the fuck he say?
He
said something about family and shit.
I feel like he walked.
Yeah, he probably fucking walked. He said something about family and shit. I got a family or some shit. All these men in here got families and kids and shit. And then he was just saying,
sit the fuck down or I'm gonna shoot you.
Like, bitch, he ain't fucking scared of you. Shooting shit. Bitch ass nigga.
He'd really walk up to you, take your gun from you. Honestly. Like, he would really take your shit from you.
Right. I would have loved to see that shit. That should have been fucking hilarious. And then that bitch right there, Raquel, whatever, Lisbon. That bitch kept following the plan here and there throughout the whole shit. And then she wanted to always get on the professor's ass. I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. And that one stupid shit when they were in the fucking RV shit. And then the bitch was like, they started talking about some shit. And then the professor was like talking about marriage and shit. And then bitch was like, you really don't want to marry me or some shit like that. It was kept saying, shut up. And I'm like, bitch, this is the whole fucking heist. Why the fuck are you focused on one shit when you have all this shit to fucking do? You have fucking people's lives in jeopardy and all that shit. And y'all trying to get out this motherfucker. And you want to sit here and argue about the shit that he said. That he didn't even mean in that way. I don't think he meant the shit. I think it said that he didn't mean in that way either. Fucking
right,
bitch.
and if you got some, if you feel some type of way about the shit, okay, feel some type of way, get over it.
Right.
And we got other bigger fish to fry.
And that dumb shit that she did when you said that she should have went up that tree instead of in that fucking barn, whatever the fuck that shit was.
Fucking up.
And then
but
when
this
she
is my thing, real quick, yeah.
In that fucking interrogation.
Yeah, she was about to fold and shit like that. But,
that was just a trick. Yeah.
On what? Yeah, we know that shit wasn't about the trick.
Right.
And even Alicia, she knew that shit was no trick. She
right.
like, bitch, you was about to, but you was about to rat for your daughter and your mama and shit like that.
She was like, I know when
somebody's about to fold. Yeah. She said you had it all. Something triggered her and shit.
Right.
We got a mole. We got a rat. But I wonder what the professor and them would have did, because you remember when Lisbon went to, you remember when Lisbon started falling on the tree? After everything, they started shooting up in the trees. Was the professor and Lisbon supposed to stay in the trees, or once they passed them by, were they supposed to climb down and then go the opposite way? I'm not sure what the what
no,
that
they were
plan
gonna end up shooting at the trees. Wouldn't they go in the opposite way?
No, but I don't. That's what I'm saying. Was that a part of their plan?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, because I remember when
Wait, what did the professor do then?
The professor, he was already down there because he thought they had killed Lisbon. Because he had
so
already.
he was about to stay up there then.
I don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, if Lisbon was still up top, say for example, if they both got up there, were they supposed to stay up there? Because they actually started shooting at the treetops.
Yeah, I think
a little while after, because they said it was some type of tactic. Like, hey,
because not that you bring that shit up, it looked like he was about to stay up there until he got the news about the Lisbon shit and shit like that.
Yeah, because he started running and shit like that. Like, he wasn't finna stay down there. He was like, "Tell him I'm coming. Like, I'm gonna surrender. There. I'm gonna surrender."
Bitch ass nigga.
Yeah. All right, Gandia.
Fuck, I ain't forcing it, because even though he was just showed up in the shit in that one episode, not one episode, but like probably 2 episodes, he was a problem, like you said. Because at first I had that doubt, like, when the fuck is gonna be a problem? I don't see shit but him being chained up and being threatened, him threatening other people and all that shit. Mm-hmm. And then him just figuring out about the fucking dumb shit, dislocating that shit. And then it ended up being a fucking problem, and none of these bitches niggas could shoot him. And like you said, I thought bullets are faster than humans or some shit like that. And how the fuck you miss all those shots as he was running, like you said, and doing flips and shit on the fucking floor? Like, don't fucking make no sense. And then he lasted for a long time too, until that bitch right there, Tokyo, which is next,
killed
blew
that
up
boy.
that grenade. Oh shit. And then the only reasons why she's that good is because I think she only did like three, four. I think 4 real nigga shits that I can remember was the grenade shit with Gandia, her having a shootout like Berlin did, and her throwing the grenade through that hole in the counter. That shit was clean. Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. And her driving up on that motorcycle through the to go back inside the bank or whatever. That's some stupid ass shit. Why the fuck you gonna leave the bank, take some time off, whatever, from your fucking boyfriend, because y'all toxic as fuck, and then be like, oh no, I don't want to come back, so let me drive and risk the shit, and let me drive into the fucking bank. She did all of that and shit like that. She didn't want to take no break or none of that shit. The reason why you remember Berlin sent her out there. Yeah, because she was strapped in that gurney, whatever the fuck. Yeah, she was strapped in the gurney and shit, and then Berlin sent her out there, so she got turned in. So when she got turned in and shit like that, she wasn't folding on the professor. She wasn't folding on the gang and shit like that. So when she wasn't folding on the gang, the police sent her to. They was like, okay, fuck you, bitch. We finna, it's over for you. We finna send you to prison.
and then the professor broke her out of it. And then when professor broke out of it, the dude had told her call professor, but the professor I think the professor got trapped up in some shit. So professor wasn't answering the phone, so Tokyo was like, "Fuck it, I got to do it." So then that's when she had came back because she ain't had nowhere else to go. She's like, "Where the fuck am I gonna go?" You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I thought you were saying that like it was her choice to leave and then come back. You know.
Then what the fuck was that shit? Where? Oh no, they were already out. And they were living separate.
That was at the beginning of part 3. Yeah. Shit. I was gonna say, what the hell you talking about? Take that break and that was some. Yeah, and that's exactly when everything fucked up. That's when everything fucked up. Yeah.
And like you said, they need to stick all together.
Exactly, and that's exactly what it seemed like.
It's just to be in the fucking same ass situation and let's do it. Let's go rob this bank for Stockholm. Oh no, let's go rob this bank for Denver. Yeah. Some shit. And then, the only reason that bitch is right there is because, what the fuck is her name? Alicia? Is because, at first, I was like, what the fuck is the hype about her? Because they were saying, oh, we're about to get the bitch in here. Because they were literally calling her the bitch or some shit like that. We're about to get the bitch in here, to handle all this shit. She's a real bitch and all that shit. And I'm like, where the fuck is she showing this shit at? Because she looks weak as fuck. And then she started getting on her shit as she was pregnant and shit. And then that's when she but got fired or whatever the fuck. And then lied on the stage not lied, but told the truth to the press and all that shit. And then went on the run while pregnant, doing all this shit, and found the professor like
real nigga shit.
In a day, I think. No, a few hours. Did the bitch nigga say a few hours? I think the professor a few hours or some shit like that. And then did what the fucking government couldn't do. Like that bitch's nigga right there, colonel next to her. And then she did all that shit, pregnant and all that shit. And then after she had that baby, she still was on her shit. And she was snaking them here and there. But then she would get right back in the loop of being their friend. Even though she didn't want to be their friend, but she got back to being a part of the gang or part of the family, whatever the fuck. And then and that bitch did some dumb shit with with driving so fucking fast. And
with the baby?
Yeah, with the fucking baby. Yeah. And then driving so fucking fast. And then 2 semi-trucks driving towards her. Hey. And then her ass got lucky. That's another lucky moment. Her ass got lucky as fuck when the semi-truck separated.
And that was another thing, too. With that one. That shit looked a little sus. Why the fuck with the semi-truck? That's a 2-way road. That's not a 1-way road. I thought the semi-trucks was on the professor's side because when they were driving and then they jumped over. This is a 2-way road. So that means these cars down this lane is going this way and these cars down this lane is going this way. So why the fuck did this semi jump on this side right here and start driving alongside this semi? It's 2 semis. And then they like what? Like y'all in the right. I didn't. That was another part that I just didn't get. That was just confusing. Like I have to like look into that because that's gonna be another fucking flaw. Right. It's just like it don't make no sense. They're like, what the hell y'all do that for to make it more cinematic? Like, oh shit, is she gonna get hit by the semi truck? Like, I don't know. That kind of thing.
That was the reason.
Unless that truck was passing, because that's what they call that. But I don't think it's no truck that's gonna do that. Like, nah.
I don't know. You gotta figure that shit out. And then she did that other dumb shit when, because I was like, she's doing this shit again. She didn't learn her fucking lesson. Because during the ending of the episode or whatever, she had the baby in the car seat in the front seat. Like, dumb bitch.
Slap that motherfucker down or some shit.
Dumb bitch. And then Colonel, because he didn't take no shit. He didn't give a fuck about nothing but his reputation. And then
he was getting hold.
Yeah, he was getting hold
often.
And he ended up getting majorly hold when they let them go. Right. Let the robbers go and all that shit. And then he wasn't being nice about anything either. And then the professor.
There's some bullshit right here. There's some more bullshit right here.
What? The professor?
Yes.
How?
Cause how you had this nigga at good? I don't give a fuck. He needs to be at GOAT because you got motherfucking.
Look, I don't have him in mid.
Go ahead, because I'm finna get on your ass. Go ahead. Finish with my nigga Professor because you got me fucked up.
He ain't in fucking GOAT. If he would have been in GOAT if he wouldn't have fucking surrendered.
Go babe.
Snitch ass bitch. What the fuck?
Everything.
No.
Everything.
No, he was the mastermind. About the whole shit, he had luck here and there.
Who doesn't?
Oh my gosh, shut the fuck up. Oh yeah, luck here and there. What the fuck else he did?
What the fuck?
That legendary ass quote. I don't care. Legendary ass quote.
Would you say that quote was GOAT worthy?
I said top 10. So is that GOAT worthy? Shit, I don't fucking know.
Put him in the GOAT then.
No.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Cause he wanted to surrender and all that shit, and then not this isn't a bad thing, but how everybody kept turning on him and all that shit, and kept yelling at him and all that shit. He's still stuck on their side.
Yeah,
that's some real nigga shit. And then then the bad thing, surrendering, and then him not going by his own rules, and then like you said, him being on the outside and him not knowing how it is on the inside for all of them and all that shit. And then didn't he do some other fucking dumb shit? What the fuck else? I forgot what the fuck else he did.
Real quick, that one thing that you said when you said him not, I felt like he always made it his objective to look at the gang and be like, I know y'all going through some shit. I'm gonna get y'all out though. No matter what, I'm gonna get y'all out. I just didn't like how he kept on doing that shit at the ending, where it was just like it was 2 times at the end and he seemed like he was about to fold. Like, my nigga, what you on?
Right. You
did all this shit to come this far just to let 4 cop cars stop you?
Right.
It was like that all shit was kind of. Yeah, it was them last 2 at towards the ending when he was like, I'll come in. I told the gang that if I was gonna fall with them, so I'll come in. But it was all a part of the plan because he knew that they couldn't extract the gang out of the Bank of Spain and still win. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. And you got the fold again with the other surrenders when he thought that Lisbon died. Like, tell him I'll be there. Maybe that was the plan that he was gonna do very early though. Show up at the no, that's not even the fucking bank. Yeah. Dumb shit right there. Then
no, okay, no, wait, I'm gonna stop you right here. Babe, what the fuck?
What?
What the fuck? Moscow irrelevant. Who the fuck?
No.
Babe, this is the like, no. Babe, what did he do? Who had more lines? Who like,
I don't give a fuck about
Nairobi? More lines? More
the time that before he died, shit. I don't give a fuck who had more lines or who should up in the camera more, nigga. The fuck?
This nigga is Moscow. He was a good. I ain't gonna say he was a mid character. He did not do shit. He was a good character. He did not do shit. He was just mid. He was just like, I need to really see where the fuck I put him while I'm calling him mid and shit like that. But real shit though, he's not better than me. Come on, you just said the mastermind. This nigga Moscow ain't that boy. He ain't shit. That's why you think he died. He ain't shit.
Cause somebody had to die, like you said. It's a fucking heist.
Somebody you gotta set somebody up. He ain't had that much.
The only fucked up thing that he did was walk out those doors. Well, about to
sabotage the whole plan and shit like that. And the professor done fixed up all the times the professor done fucked up. He done made up for all them times, 1 billion times more.
Because he only fucked up once that I can remember. So of course.
He damn near wanted to die and shit like that too when he laying on that goddamn man. Get the fuck out of here.
Laying on what?
No, I think he was just having like one of them little. I need to breathe. That shit.
Oh, that. Yeah, when he had that panic attack. Yeah, or some that. Shit.
Like, man.
I don't give a fuck. I forgot the other reasons, but shit.
Exactly. Thank you, because this is what makes Moscow mid as fuck. When you say, "Oh, I forgot all the other reasons." I bet you gonna have a lot to say about these niggas and shit. I bet you what they've done is more significant than
that's
fucking
why they're in
Moscow.
Front of
him. The professor is. All right, babe.
Yeah, shut the fuck up and drink your water.
I am gonna drink my fucking water because this is some bullshit. The professor.
Palermo.
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 Go ahead, baby.
I don't know how to say this shit.
Call that nigga P.
Oh my gosh. He was just the sock puppet of Berlin. Like, what the fuck? Follow the leader ass nigga. That's what the fuck he was. But then in that heist shit, just in the heist shit after Berlin died though, he was on this shit. He was bossing up throughout the whole shit, and then he was like, we're not gonna fold here or here and there, whatever. We're not gonna fold. We're gonna do this shit. And then what the fuck was that one shit that he fucking did in that one episode? What the fuck was that one shit that he did in that?
Palermo? Is it bad or good?
It was a good one because we both agreed on it. We were like,
Palermo.
We'll get back to that shit. He was the henchman of the professor. He was on his shit throughout the whole shit. He was like a generic Gandhi.
Yeah,
like a
generic, a very washed down, watered down Gandhi. Yeah.
Probably. And the only fucked up thing I remember him doing was the fucking what the fuck did he do? Oh, let that bitch go. He let that bitch go. Alicia. He let that bitch go.
He let her go?
Remember when he was holding the gun? No. Was she already in the car?
Oh, yeah, when they was driving at each other and he drove.
Yeah, drove.
When they was driving towards each other, yeah.
Let that bitch go.
Yeah.
Helsinki. He was just a real nigga shit. And he was still about to shoot even though his legs were fucking paralyzed and all that shit. But then his ass fucking folded. Even though you gave reasons on why, but his ass fucking folded when they're like, you shoot me, I'm gonna shoot him, and then
you gonna die too. Bitch,
yeah, you're gonna die. And you're gonna die too. And he was on this shit throughout the shit, and then he got caught up when Gandhi tried to hang his ass, and then he didn't let the pressure get to him until him and P had that talk, and that's when he started crying and shit. But before that, and then after that cry, whatever, he been holding that shit in,
holding it all. Yeah, he been solid,
building up that anger after all the other deaths that happened or whatever. Then, but the thing that kind of annoyed me was when he said, I'm not gonna let nobody else die.
Yeah,
this person died, I'm not gonna let you die. Or anybody else die, but ended up having other people die.
Tokyo.
Right. Tokyo. And then the bitches nigga Denver was a real nigga. And then because like you said, he did that 10, 9, 8, 7 with the grenade shit, and he was always willing to shoot too, and he got on that bitch's ass. Stockholm's ass when she said some shit. No, she didn't even say shit. She was sitting down at the on the couch, and he walked in. He was like, I kissed
Manila.
Manila. I kissed Manila, and then he was like, but you know what? Because every time I would go out, I would lie to you and say I'm doing this, but I'm actually partying and all doing all that shit. Because I feel like if I would have told you the truth, you would have been like, you're a bad guy. You're not the person I meant. You're not that person I want, and all that shit. And then
it was true to an extent too, because when he actually showed his true colors and whooped the shit out of, she folded on him like, what the fuck, like, what the hell, this me, bitch.
Yeah. And then you want to get back together, and then all that shit. And then the fuck else did he do?
Solid, not too many flaws. He started to.
He almost snitched.
He almost it was another thing he did towards the end of too that I'm trying to think about. That he was on when he did that fuck shit when he cheated on Stockholm. That shit was some bullshit.
Yeah, with his own cousin.
And I don't give a fuck what you sit here and tell me. Did they get married?
Who? Oh yeah, he had the ring.
They did get married.
But he was like, "You want the divorce?"
You can't, man. Divorce ain't no motherfucker.
I know
they
still married.
You can't. Yeah, you can't look at me and say, "Oh, we broke up, motherfucker. Y'all still married." I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that. You know, because that's some bullshit. You can't look and be like, "Oh, I kissed." You kissed your cousin. That shit is disgusting, my nigga. So, you kissed your cousin. I don't get, like, I ain't even finna go into none of this shit because I don't really give a fuck if Denver was like, oh shit, I like guys, I like transgenders, because that's what his cousin was. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, my nigga. I'm just on the simple fact that this nigga went off and he cheated. Like, you're cheating, my nigga. You doing all of this shit, and then what'd he just say? What'd he say? 10 minutes later, I kissed Stockholm in the same room. But like, come on.
Oh, wasn't you saying that
where homie at? Bogota ain't even on
there. He was in the favorites. I forgot.
Okay.
Which one though?
We'll
I would probably put him at good.
Okay, you'll put him at good where?
Because he was just
Bogota. We talking about Bogota.
Talker.
Yeah, he was a real nigga. Yeah. Where would you put him at?
Good somewhere. Well, you said that's behind Gandhi.
Behind, damn. Okay. And then where would you put Milan?
Who?
Milan.
Who the fuck is that?
Manila. Fuck. I said Milan. Manila.
I was like, we ain't watching the movie shit.
Who the fuck is that? Manila.
That bitch was fucking irrelevant. She didn't even do shit. They talked about her like she was the shit. Cause they thought it was a dude.
I ain't gonna even lie. They really shit. Was gassing shit. Cause she wasn't even really. I say they ruined her potential by having her sit with the hostages.
Right.
Yeah. Cause I really.
But
couldn't
she was
see
trying
anything.
to tell them shit.
Yeah.
Like, I need to go to the bathroom.
And they was on some bullshit like, sit your ass down. No, bitch, let me go. Every time I tell you I need to go to the bathroom, let me go to the fucking bathroom. I'm trying to tell you something, nigga.
Right. Dumb bitches. What the fuck would I put her? She can be in mid.
Mid, okay. Behind Lisbon?
Yeah, behind
okay.
Lisbon. And then, I forgot the other shit that,
Denver
did. But, yeah, then Berlin, it's self-explanatory, so shit. He was the head of everything. He was the leader of everything. And, he was the second, set of brains in it all, other than the, professor. And he was the one that knew the whole plan. Other than P and the professor. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, professor
be petty. His wife too.
Exactly.
And they ended up turning on the ass. Oh, and he went out shooting. And and then, like, the most bogus shit that he did was not stick to the plan, like you said, with the killing, with wanting to kill people or whatever. And, what the fuck is that shit called? Not assumption. I don't fucking know what that shit called. But having that theory out there that he raped that one girl. And, that shit where, what you said?
The rumor?
Yeah, the rumor. That's what that shit called. And where, you said that one foul shit that he did, kept her with her. No,
yeah,
kept her with him. Yeah. During when they were loading the guns and all that shit.
When they was getting ready, when they was freeing the hostages, I believe. They was freeing the hostages, and then he said, "No, you come with me."
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, no." It's just like that shit gotta be, touching like. What the? They leaving out the door and you telling me to come? Hell no, nigga.
Right.
Fuck that. But yeah.
Excuse me. And that bitch was dumb with not taking his offer when all you had to do was act.
Man.
Until he died.
Man.
He only had like what do you say? A few years or some shit like that.
Yeah. Crazy.
Could have held that shit out.
What's that?
Got all those millions.
50 plus million.
Right. Would have got all those fucking millions. But no, bitch. You wanted to fucking vote. You wanted to have that fucking loud ass conversation in the bathroom with Stockholm about the shit.
And then Nairobi ended up hearing it and then ended up telling him. And that's why Berlin started acting a lot more funny and stuff like that. Because he knew it. He just didn't
want to believe it or some shit. Yeah.
Exactly.
He should have believed in that shit way more off of the shit that your ex-wife did. Shit.
Right. Nah, know to
Fuck
trust
it, dude.
motherfuckers.
Right,
Yeah.
fucking.
That's your list, babe?
That shit is fucking bogus. With
What
his
they
whole
did?
son.
Yeah.
That shit is fucking bogus.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm done.
Okay, y'all. That's Bay list. Y'all look. Y'all
What the fuck are you gonna say?
Y'all can rank Bay list and shit like that. Your list shit. That's what I was about to say. Now this is my motherfucking goated tier list.
Boo!
My motherfucking goated tier list. My tier list so goddamn goated. I gotta move us out the.
Why
fucking
the fuck
way.
you got Denver and fucking good?
I gotta move us out the motherfucking way and shit like that. Oh shit! Why the fuck the socials
Trash
ain't been on
ass
this
shit.
whole time? Now I gotta add the socials during during editing. This shit is crazy.
Cause that trash is getting in your mind. I mean, that's why.
Oh
You're
my
messing
goodness.
up.
Yeah,
Shit.
you just trying to talk shit because you know your shit was dog.
No, the fuck it wasn't.
Yeah, alright, we gonna see.
Watch.
But no.
They're all gonna comment whose list is better too.
Y'all comment who list is better. This is common sense right here because y'all know her shit was.
You know
When you got the
fucking
professor
sense.
at just good, come on. All right, so here we
Oh
go.
my gosh.
We finna go now. All right, so in irrelevant, like Bay said, Cuz was a non-factor.
Right.
He surrendered his position and shit because he couldn't handle it. The wife, the ex-wife of
Lisbon.
Berlin.
Oh, you said
The
that.
ex-wife of Berlin and shit like that. She was a non-factor.
Right.
Only in
became
flashbacks.
relevant in the,
And then
last episode.
yeah, she became relevant in the last episode when she did that boss shit and stole, or last two episodes I believe, and stole the gold, or it was one of those or something like that.
And he called that shit out too.
Yeah, so
I was like, they still alive? Shit.
yeah, that was because that was a big ass surprise as well. No
Yeah.
bullshit. When it was them two, and I didn't even recognize them at first either.
Oh, you didn't recognize
yeah,
who
because
they
I
were?
didn't recognize who they was, and then you was like, you were right. I was like, oh shit.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, and then also Oslo, he was irrelevant. He didn't talk a lot. I don't remember this nigga talking.
Like, these are the brothers right here.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
them. Boom, got killed off.
Other than that, I don't
Shit.
fucking know, and it's just like shit. He was just irrelevant. Only trash character for me was the ex-husband.
Yeah, I agree with that.
He was like, he legit was just dog shit and shit like that. I just, he all of this shit Bay said, everything he abusive. He wanted to take the daughter away as well. Like
right.
It was just like, come on, my nigga,
shit.
you just got done beating up on your daughter's mama. What the fuck you think you gonna do to your goddamn daughter, my nigga?
Right, that's
we
what
can't
that,
even trust you with that shit.
Who the fuck
I
said
think the
that
professor
shit?
said it. Did the professor say that?
No, it was one of the
somebody
cops. Was Colonel there? Yeah.
I don't even know.
I think it was Alicia that said that shit.
It probably was.
I think it was Alicia that said
I think
that
she
shit.
said it to Lisbon. Yeah, she said it to Lisbon. Yeah. When she was trying to interrogate her.
Yeah.
She said you want her to be.
I
with...
was like, damn.
Yeah.
You
But
bitch.
but you gotta
But
think
that
about it.
shit
That's a
true as
fact.
fuck.
Yeah.
True as fuck.
What? You bitch, but that shit true as fuck. Yeah. Back in the mid. We got motherfucking Stockholm.
No, I was saying this earlier. That bitch did use Nairobi's son as bait.
Oh yeah, true. She did do that.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah. So Stockholm, she's the last character in mid because it's just like she was
Doing
edging.
so
She
many
kept
dumb
edging
shit.
towards
So much
trash
dumb
because she
shit.
wasn't doing enough good.
Right.
She was just there.
Oh, and wasn't she doing that one trash thing where she was shooting? Remember when they all were in the hallway, trying to shoot at Gandia?
Yeah. And
she
she
did
wasn't
that
pushing.
trash.
She wasn't pushing.
Yeah,
She was just standing.
that.
She was just standing there. She don't. This is my thing. She don't know shit about the war aspect of it and shit like that. Because if you got somebody, if these is my guys right here, if these my guys right here, these my guys right here, babe, put somebody in the middle. Put somebody in the middle. And there's a person in the middle, and we all the way over here like this. We push. This side shoot, distract them. Now this guy right here in the middle is shooting, point towards this side, man. Now this guy, no, stand like right, be in the middle, but like point, yeah, that way. So now that guy is shooting towards this side right here. He's shooting. Then now I'm gonna start shooting from this side. So then now this guy's shooting, and then what we gotta do is we gotta continue to creep up. Now since he's shooting over here, we gonna start shooting over here. And now we move closer like this. And then now look, you're fucked. You're fucked. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god.
She was on the one side. She didn't understand that. You gotta push and you gotta squeeze in and shit like that. She stayed in one position and damn near fucked it up.
The real one I had the fucking word in my head, but the real one, the moment that she had, the one good moment.
What's happening in Cincinnati? I don't care.
Huh? Oh, it was happening. No, probably. It was when she shot Arturo.
Oh yeah, when she finally toughened up and shit like that and actually did that shit. Yeah. But then after that.
Yeah, I just said that's the only one.
And I understand she was going through shit, the thoughts in her head and shit. But it was just like the PTSD shit. But it was just like, my nigga, she still was dog shit. It was just she wasn't doing enough good in order to make me be like, come on, you know what I'm saying? Go up the list, you know. Right. So yeah, same thing with her favorite fucking character, Moscow. He was
one of my
he was like he wasn't on shit. He didn't do shit. He didn't do shit in the only thing he did was have a mouthpiece, and his mouthpiece wasn't even really like that. Pause. His shit, talking piece. He wasn't really like, he was saying real shit and shit like that. But then again, he was just like a dad to everybody. Honestly,
right? That's what
like he was just a dad to everybody, and he was just looking at them like, hey, I respect you with this, that, all of that and shit. And you know, he was Denver's dad and shit, but he just didn't do enough to be up there. He's next to Stockholm because everybody else above him and shit like that, there was a reason why they're there. He didn't do shit. He died early on and shit like that. He just didn't do enough. He didn't do. Everybody, I can tell you this. Everybody that was in the heist with him did more than him. Everybody that was in the heist with him did more than him. All he did was have his panic attacks, ran outside and shit like that, and won the air and died. That's all that nigga did. All that nigga did. And he covered Tokyo when she was coming in the thing. That's how he got shot and shit. But other than that, that's the only thing he did. So yeah, that's that. Angel and shit, I put him in the mid category right there and shit. Mainly because I didn't like, I wasn't really fucking with Angel. But then again, he was just mid to me because I fucked with Angel. Look, another reason why the professor had luck and shit like that was because of what Professor did. I mean, because of what Angel did.
Got in that crash.
Not when he got in the crash, but when he woke up and he called Lisbon, and then Lisbon went there, and then they pulled Lisbon up out the hospital and shit, and then they was like, "What did Lisbon say? What did Lisbon say?" He didn't. He never cinched. Yeah, that's that luck shit. That's my friend. That's why I called her. And I think Angel knew that she was fucking with the professor, like heavy, and like, oh, you fucking with this plan, and he ain't say shit. Yeah. So it was just like little shit like that, and he was jealous, and his wife left him, and it was just like shit, you know. So that's why he there. It's Paul Bear looking ass nigga. The Colonel, his ass. I personally feel like the Colonel, he was a good. I fucked with his character and shit like that. I just feel like he was more so in the middle. Exactly why he was 50-50 and shit like that, because he was that nigga where he wasn't taking no shit. Like Bay said so many times, he wasn't taking no shit, but then again, he was taking shit.
Right.
He was taking the only reason why he was taking shit because his back was pinned up against the wall. He couldn't do nothing else. Like, it was so many times where he couldn't do shit.
And he kept getting tricked.
Yeah, he kept getting tricked.
Back to back.
Kept getting hold. But he made sure, hey, y'all gonna trick me, but I'm gonna come back harder. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna. But then at the end, it ain't shit he can do with that shit. When it's state secrets and you know, damn, if I fold behind this shit, I could die behind this shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? You know, it'll be my ass behind this, you know? So that's that. Arturo, I put him in mid. I didn't like the shit he did and shit like that, but he brought the funniness. Denver brought the funniness to the shit as well, but Arturo real life brought the funny to the shit. Like, he was funny as hell. How many times and it became cliche. Every time he had an idea, hey, I got this phone call. And then he'll look over like these and shit. Like, get your silly looking ass over here. Right. I got this phone. Here, I got this gun. I'm going to get this gun. We got the gun. And then it's just like, bro, get your silly.
And when he was under that desk.
Yeah, under the desk, yeah. I was just about to say that. When he was like, he said, we're going to get these assholes out of here. And then when we get these assholes out of here, you're going to be back on Monday. And I promise you will not have a fucking job. And then he shitted on it. You remember when he shitted on it? He was like, don't you have daughters who've been unemployed for about how long now? 21 months? He said something. I was like, damn. He said, so you need this money. And I was just like, damn. And then it was just like, you remember when he got the gun? When he was like, He got the gun and shit like that, and he was like showing it to everybody that he got the real gun. And then he said, "Here, take some." He started taking the money, and he was trying to put it in their little thing, just so that in their jumpsuit, just so that they can take the money and shit. But yeah, he was like I said, he was just a funny ass character and shit like that. And then when he got his ass popped, when at the ending, he got tired of taking all of that shit, and Denver was right there for the taking. So he was like, "I gotta get him." That's when he started pulling out all the tricks, shooting guns. He him and the governor had, they went together. He got on the little thing, started shooting them down, trying to kill them all and shit like that. He's like, all right, now is my time to really take leadership and try to do something to get us all out of here. It was reckless as hell. But he was hell bent on getting all them niggas gone, mainly Denver, because he know what Denver took from him, type shit. Denver took something. Arturo reminded me of a little kid who ain't playing with something, and then I walk in the motherfucking room, grab their little toy ball, start dribbling it, and then little motherfucker want to run up to me and be like, my ball. No, motherfucker, you wasn't caring about this. You was playing. Go play with them fucking turtle toys and shit like that. I'm dribbling this motherfucking basketball now. You not getting this shit. That's what Arturo reminded me of, because he was disrespecting when she said, I'm pregnant. When Stockholm said I'm pregnant, he ain't want no business with that.
Right.
He said, that ain't my baby. I ain't fucking, that ain't my baby and shit. He wasn't fucking with her and shit. And then when Denver started fucking with her, that's when he like, no, that's mine. No, nigga, that ain't how shit work. You dissed her. You ain't want her and shit. So, fuck it. Boom, that's that. Rio was in mid because, yes, he did so much dumb shit and shit like that. But towards the ending, what did he do? He wasn't taking no shit. At the ending with Gandia, he fucked up. Granted, he fucked up. But once he seen what that shit did, it was over. Yes, I understand he should have respected that they came back for him way earlier and shit like that. But he should have done that and respected that shit way earlier and shit. But it's still the simple fact that he sat back and was like, all right, y'all gonna be some real niggas and y'all gonna come back and get me. Y'all did all this shit for me and shit. Tokyo done died behind all of this shit. Just because y'all came back. He started to boss up and shit like that. And he was like, no, I'm going to go find that son of a bitch Gandia. And he started doing all that yelling and shit. Me personally, I feel like he was more bark than bite, because he had a gun. Nigga, you had a gun. Gandia was right there. If you really wanted to kill him, you would have killed him. You was allowing them to talk to you and calm you down versus actually pulling out that toolie and, using that motherfucker and fixing some shit. You know what I'm saying? So, I slid on her, Thule, fixing the shit. All right, but yeah, real shit though. That's why I put Rio there. Mid, you and me got Lisbon at the top of mid and shit like that. Lisbon, just put her. I put her at mid and shit like that because I feel like she was edging her way into being a good character to me, in my opinion and shit. But it was just something that was missing. Yeah, it was a lot of flaws. She snaked the cops and shit like that. I ain't tripping off of that, but she snaked the cops. And then she was about to snake the gang. Right. I understand, just to get her, make sure she get a new life, her mom and her daughter and shit like that. I understand that. But, man, you was about to really do them grime like that. And that shit, I really didn't rock out with that. But she did do a lot of good things when she got into the gang and shit. She instilled that confidence in them. She kept on. She was like, if Palermo wasn't the leader, she was going to be the leader. It was going to be that voice that they needed and shit like that.
And
because
then when she hold Rio.
Yeah, exactly.
She was about to do some dumb shit.
Yeah, and shit like that. Like, you need that, because if say for example, if Palermo ain't the leader, you would think, oh, Denver gonna be next in line. Denver wasn't gonna be next in line because he was too busy dealing with Manila in Stockholm. Right. He wasn't gonna be next in line because he had his head wrapped around them two and shit like that. And what Manila just told him, all thinking about all the shit that they did when they was kids, and then thinking about Stockholm now and how he snuck out. It was just so much he was going through and shit. He wasn't gonna be ready for that. But Lisbon, she was like locked in and ready to lead if need be, and she could lead because she was just leading a whole police unit. Back in the times and shit. I don't know how long ago it was, but back in some times and shit. So I rocked out where she was getting ready to go into good. Tokyo,
but didn't get there.
Right, she didn't get there. Got to be quicker than that. But yeah, Tokyo, she was at the back end of good and shit like that. She was a good character to me. I feel like Tokyo was just she did a lot of bullshit. especially at the beginning. Did a lot of bullshit and shit like that.
The fuck out of me.
But when she did all of that bullshit, it was for a reason. When she did all that bullshit, it was for a good reason and shit like that. And then when she started to like fuck up again was when it was at the beginning of part 3. When it was at the beginning of part 3 and shit like that. At the beginning of part 3, she wanted to leave Rio and shit. That's when she started fucking up. But when she started like getting her shit back together and shit like that, she recognized that, damn, I need to lock this shit in because they all here again. Right. Because I wanted them to be here. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. And that's when she started actually believing in the
believing in all of that shit. Yeah. And then she started believing in them, and then locked the shit back in, and then like now it was go time, and you know, and especially that shit she pulled off at the end when she killed all of them. Like she that was some real nigga shit right there. When she done got them all. It was that's one of my favorite scenes of the shit was when when he was reporting, when that guy was reporting the deaths. Yeah. He was like, we got Selena.
You're like, damn, no.
Tokyo. Yeah, Tokyo. And then he was like, we got a soldier down. And he was like, damn. And then he was like, we got this soldier. Then another one. Then another one. Then another. And it's just like, damn, 5 for the price of 1. That shit ain't worth it, my nigga. Like how y'all went in there 8 deep. Now it's only 3 of y'all boys. You know what I'm saying? Like that shit was wild. And I just sat there and I just looked at that shit like Tokyo, real life. She did that.
Oh shit!
You know, she did that. She blew up her 5. She blew up her 5 grenades on her that I seen that was visible and shit. And then the dude also said, the leader of the military group, he also said it triggered on his men too. The grenades that they had on them. Yeah. So that shit, Gandia, man, he was a fucking problem. Right. That nigga, he was like, I feel like why I got him low. He would have been higher if he was really on that assassin shit. Kill Tokyo. Why are you keeping her alive? I don't care what you own. I don't care. Bro, kill Tokyo. You want to see...
I mean, I know this ain't this because he could do that shit way earlier. But wasn't something... Didn't he get shot in the leg or some shit? And he passed the fuck out?
He, I think he did. Yeah, I think it was from that grenade. I feel like it was from that grenade and shit like that. That's when he was sitting there trying to put the shit in the thing. And then he fell out because he needed to inject it in himself to get more energy and shit or whatever the fuck it was.
And that's when he passed the fuck out. Yeah. Some shit. And then later on they tied his ass up.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That was another little cop out thing from the TV show because, bro, if he was really an assassin, I swear if I was in that, Tokyo would have been dead. She would have been the first one because she was the first one I caught. Tokyo would have been dead. Then I would have got Helsinki. I would have made sure Helsinki was dead. Pulling him up there like that, bro. That's not killing him. I would have killed him. Bro, I'm going to let you mourn your motherfucking friend. And once you mourning your friend, guess who I'm going to get? That fucking mutt. Nairobi. Then I'm going to get Nairobi. Nairobi would have been dead. Headshot. Dead. What I need to let her suffer for? Headshot. Dead. I'm through the vent. Got y'all too. All right, cool. Right after I got y'all too and shit like that, the rest of y'all is done. Like, that's 3 knocked off. Now they got how many? About 5, 6. Now guess who all scared of me? Everybody's walking around in fear and shit like that. Now it's like, oh shit, where's he at? You got all the cameras. You know exactly where everybody at. That's why he down there.
That's what I don't know what if I forgot who the fuck she was saying it to, but I remember she said something about. She said we're all scared. Yeah. I don't think I'm scared. I'm very scared. You don't think so and so is scared? They're scared.
They always think that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like he had put a fear in them by just doing little shit. He wasn't really on nothing. And that was before he killed Nairobi, I believe. I don't know. I think it was before he killed Nairobi. Yeah. So he put that fear in them just because you never know when somebody can pop out the shadows. You know what I'm saying? So put that fear in them. Boom. Then we going to get the weak links. Rio, you dead, my boy. You out of here. And then now I got like about 5 left. 5 more. Like I done knocked off 4 already. Right. And this shit easy to me. I got the cameras, everything. I'm gonna go right back. Tokyo already sitting in this motherfucking room dead. You know? And so that's how I would have ran that shit. Gandhi, he was a problem, but he wasn't a problem that I thought he was gonna be heavily. Because he could have really got them up out of there, you know. But he didn't. My boy Palermo, he I fucked with his character and shit like that because he was a bitch. Yeah, he cared about the plan and making the plan succeed because of who? Berlin. He cared because of Berlin and shit. Yeah, he cared because of Berlin, and he really cared for Berlin and shit. And I seen similarities in him and Berlin just by how they moved and shit like that. Yeah. He was like a poor man's Berlin in a way. Yeah, he was like a poor man's Berlin. That's exactly why the professor gave him the keys and said, "Hey, you gonna run this next heist and shit like that. You gonna be the leader of this shit because you know the plan. You know, you in Berlin knew that plan. You know, you damn near know the plan more than me, but I know more than, you know, just because I studied it way more and shit like that, you know." So once he was in love, whenever Palermo was in love with that plan, it was gonna be a success. Whenever he was in love with it, because he told him that at the end. We just got to be positive, and we gonna get through this shit. He told him that shit. Mm-hmm. Alicia, I just said she was a good character all around. Yeah, she was like Bae just said. She was a boss. She was a boss ass nigga. Like, man, doing all of that shit while pregnant. She was about to flip a cop. She was about to flip a cop that flipped the cops and then turned into the ops, and then she was about to turn. Pretty much. I fucked myself up there, but pretty much, Lisbon was a cop. Then Lisbon flipped and turned to an op. Alicia was in her head so goddamn much, she was about to flip Lisbon, the op, back into Lisbon, the cop. She was about to flip it right back, like get on our side of things and shit like that. She was about to do that. She bossed up with that, got Lisbon in on that shit. Then she caught the professor about 2-3 times down there. She caught him one time, professor. Damn. Then she caught him again. And then she knocked him out. She had all 3 of them niggas tied up. Pregnant as fuck. All 3 of them niggas tied up in the goddamn thing.
And actually shooting them too. Not
popping ass like, I ain't playing with you boys. Right. She torturing Sergio, putting him in these things. That's a big grown ass man. And she putting him in a little tight things, dropping his ass down the thing. Like, that's some, like, bro, doing all that. Like, she was that nigga, you know? And then, she was that nigga. Tell me something she did. Tell me something she did wrong. Tell me something she did wrong. Oh, my gosh. Tell me. She's there now. Simple. That's all I gotta say. My boy Marcelli, I think his name was Marcelli. Like Bae said, poor. 50 billion poors. That's too far. 50 poor man. Gandia. He was just like the henchman, but he wasn't really on no henchman shit. He was just the real nigga standing by he was the professor's right hand man. Right. He was just. I don't think I ever seen the nigga shoot a gun. Did we see the nigga shoot a gun? He ain't shoot shit. He wasn't on shit. I think he was just there, and he just made sure the professor was up on his game. And he
didn't shoot shit.
He didn't?
Yeah, he didn't shoot shit.
Yeah, I don't think he shot shit. He didn't shoot nobody and shit. He probably shot a gun, but he didn't shoot nobody. You know what I'm saying? He just had it on him all the goddamn time. But he was just making sure the professor was locked in and on sticking to the plan and shit like that every step of the way. And he wanted to fight. He was ready to go and shit. But professor was like, no, put that shit down, boy. You know what I'm saying? So I fucked with him heavy. Helsinki, solid ass character all around. He ain't fuck up much because he ain't have too much. He was just looking like a guy that just was like, hey man, I'm here for my boys. I'm here for my family. Right. I'm here for my gang and shit like that. And as long as I'm here riding with y'all and shit like that, ain't shit gonna stop me. He was in his feelings, but he held that shit down like a real ass nigga and shit like that. And I'm happy he didn't end up dying at the end. I'm happy that they ended up getting him out because he was one of them characters that I just didn't want to see go because he was so, like a teddy bear ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just a big softy, and he just, you know, a big softy that ain't gonna cry. He gonna thug that shit out. And he gonna be like, damn, you hurt my feelings and shit. But guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna knock that shit off, and we're gonna keep this shit moving. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's that. Yeah. And then Nairobi, she just like, man, Nairobi, she just like everything Nairobi did. She was just, like I said, Nairobi was Lisbon before Lisbon. She played that role as in like, if Berlin was like if Berlin couldn't lead no more, I was low key looking at Nairobi because Helsinki. I'm not looking at Helsinki to lead. He ain't vocal enough. Tokyo, she's too like 50-50,
Yeah,
wishy-washy, where she gonna help you and then she gonna fuck you up in the same way. Yeah, like what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Rio, he's a fucking kid. He don't, he's a kid. Moscow, he not vocal enough, just like Helsinki, not vocal enough. I trust Helsinki before I trust Moscow and shit because Moscow wasn't on shit. But Helsinki, he was more like he got everything with the shit. Like I look at Helsinki like, yeah, that nigga gonna, he gonna blow some shit. You know what I'm saying? Pause. Oh, because he will. All right, let me stop. But no, real shit though. But that's what I looked at Nairobi as. Nairobi was that type of character that was like she was gonna be that second lead, and if you needed it, second lead behind the professor, second lead behind Berlin. You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at her. She was just like locking it in. Only thing she fucked up on is what Bae said when she got tricked. It's her son though. She was going back to get her son and shit like that. She never got the chance to do it because she was living her life and shit. But then she was just gonna let her son go, just like, hey, that he with a new mom, he got a new mom and new dad, new family and shit. So I'm gonna let him rock. Then when Alicia pulled that chess move and shit like that, brought her up there, got her ass shot and shit like that. She folded, but she wasn't folding like how Tokyo and Rio and all them boys was folding, or Moscow was fucking folding.
Oh my gosh.
And I yelled out Moscow like that because you put Moscow in fucking GOAT.
I know.
And you put Nairobi in irrelevant, and it's just like what? Like Nairobi, she folded for her daughter. This man folded for a son that was still alive, that he seen, that he could touch in the fucking flesh. He folded over a bitch he didn't know, cause he thought he killed Stockholm. Folded over that hoe. You know what I'm saying? It's just like no, So but Nairobi, she did it, and she walked up to the window. She didn't walk outside, jeopardize all that. Nairobi walked up to the window. They said, hey, there she go right there. Shoot her motherfucking ass. Shoot her ass. Popped her ass and shit like that. And that was the fall of Nairobi and shit like that. That's when she was at the door holding that shit down. Like, hey, right here. And Helsinki was like, she was like, Helsinki got the shooting through the door, popping Gandhi's ass. And then Gandhi shot Nairobi, and it was just like she was holding all that shit down. It was just like she did so much, and then when she died, that shit right there touched me when she died, because it was just like, especially when they was doing that shit when that bitch kept on fucking with that flower, and it was like the sunlight. You remember when they were showing all the dead characters, and you said, "Damn, enough to make a grown ass woman cry." Yeah, she said that shit. Yeah, all the dead characters, and that shit was just. And Nairobi was sitting there looking at them. And it was just like, damn, my nigga, what the fuck, So, just that she had went through a lot, and just for her to go through a lot, she continued to get back up and not stop. Cause right after she was laying up in that motherfucking stretcher, and then what she do? Right after Gandhi tried to do this shit, she got her ass right the fuck up and was ready, back in action. All right, guys, we're gonna do this. She got in that. When she in a wheelchair or something? Yeah. We're gonna do this. Let's go. Wheelchair. Yeah. What'd you say, babe?
It said she stood up from that wheelchair.
Yeah, she was like, let's do this. I want that gold pumping. She was back on her shit, you know what I'm saying? On some boss shit. So that's why I fucked with her. I already told y'all why Alicia is there where she at and shit like that. Cause, bro, she she was like that nigga, you know what I'm saying? Just all the shit she did. Denver, he the king of good and shit like that. Just because
I would have thought would have been the next leader, but then you brought up that point where his head was too. His head was rare.
Both of them bitches. Yeah, them two bitches and shit like that. Yeah, he was too like he was
technically three. You want to be technical with Tokyo?
Oh yeah, because he's talking about she's a Maserati. Yeah. But I wouldn't drive the Maserati. Right. This nigga that shit was funny as hell. But and then Tokyo walked up to him, so I'm a Maserati. That shit was funny as I heard I'm a Maserati. Nah, but real shit though. Denver, he was a funny character. He was funny as fuck. His laugh was irritating, but it was funny. That shit right there. I kind of feel like I'm getting it a little bit. Like when I was laughing, I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm sounding like Denver a little bit with that laugh and shit. But real shit though, it was just like
stuck in the character.
On what? Stuck in character and shit. Inside joke. Go check out the Vampire Diaries. No Capita on Patreon. World class lifestyle. No Capita. But real shit though. He was pushing his way into GOAT. But he started to fuck up. He was that in GOAT. I'll tell you this. He was in my GOAT characters throughout the entire... Just because he was funny. He brought life. He never was dull. He was protecting of everybody. What you said?
And saying he would pull that trigger.
Yeah, he will shoot. He's not playing no games about his. He will fucking shoot. And when they told him about the plan, he was like, "Man, I got a family now. Why y'all trying to make me do this?" And then when they told him, "Hey, we got to do this. Come on." He said, "All right, bet. Let's go. Let's do this and shit." And then...
And he was telling Rio about himself.
Yeah, he was telling Rio about it. He'll literally tell anybody about themselves.
Right.
He'd get on anybody ass. He wasn't afraid of nobody. He was ready to go every second of the way and shit like that. The only thing that started to throw me is his ending. Once they started to end, it just seemed like they was trying to throw flaws at everybody. I'm telling you, he was low key fighting with Berlin. He was never touching the professor, because ain't nobody touching the professor, but he was fighting with Berlin for that second spot and shit like that. But I think I still would have put him at the third spot with GOAT, mainly because the way that he was, like, he ain't had no flaws. That man was just straight up solid until his cousin got in the mix. And then it's just like his cousin started fucking up shit, because once his cousin told him that, he like, "Damn, really? Because I kind of felt that way about you. Like, whoa, you like, we was doing all this shit." And I kind of felt like Denver was thinking in his head like, "Hey, I've kind of felt that way about you too and shit, but you was a guy and you was my cousin. I know I couldn't do that shit." You know, it's just like, right. Yeah, that was why he the king of good, and I couldn't put him in GOAT just because of that shit. The way he ended and shit, it's just like, he kissed, he cheated on Stockholm, his wife. That shit is never a pass on no fucking levels or anything. He cheated on his wife and shit like that, and then after he cheated and shit, he went and kissed his fucking wife. And then Bogota told him, "Don't say shit." And then he goes and he says shit. And then he just like you know, how you gonna have that heart to heart with Bogota and then go end up spilling the beans, my nigga? Like, come on, cuz. You know, I understand why he told her and shit like that, and why he said what he said and shit. But it was just like, man, I don't know. It was just like, I didn't understand his approach.
But she already knew anyways, so shit.
Yeah, and she knew that shit anyways, you know. But I didn't know his approach. And I feel like Bogota told him, like, man, even if she look at you and ask you, say no, especially if she didn't see it. He even said that bullshit. He was like, if she catch you naked in the room with somebody, you're hallucinating. It's not real. That's some bullshit. But Stockholm could be like, "You kissed your cousin. You kissed her." "No, I don't know what you're talking about. She said you kissed her." "I never kissed that bitch." You know what I'm saying? Because who was in the room when it happened? Just them two. So if he deny it for his whole life, he could play a game with her. Who you gonna believe, me or her? And then she be like, "Damn, now you got her." You know, it's easy. You know, that's how he could have played that game and shit like that. It's just he started to fold at the end, and that's why I had to put him in good and shit like that. GOAT, come on, it's Berlin. Berlin, he's a GOAT character. He you know, he was the epitome of that shit. I fucked with Berlin so heavy and shit. He just good leader, and you see who's the two.
You would think that, like, we were talking about this.
You said this when we first started. You was like, when he died, actually, you said it. You would think, she said this shit. She said, you would think that people would dislike Berlin, but no, Berlin is that nigga. Like, I don't know why. I feel like I would dislike him too, but he's like a Shane to me. Like I said, he's like Shane. Like, where you would look at him like, nah, I ain't. But the shit he do is just like, I feel like you need that type of leader, that, cause he didn't take no shit either. Berlin didn't take no bullshit
either.
He
actually took that action. He beat up whatchamacallit, was it Rio?
Yeah, he had them beat Rio ass. He had them beat Rio ass. He was about to get Stockholm killed because he's like, we can't have none of this bullshit up in here. No phones, none of this shit.
Right.
But with that, he was fucking up the plan, because if Denver really would have went and shot and killed Stockholm, that would have destroyed the whole plan, because there's no hostages. We can't have that shit. Right. And that's the thing that he dropped down, but just everything he started to do, that's why I said he's nowhere near the professor. He ain't touching the professor in this category and shit like that. Like, yes, he's the GOAT character, but if I could rank him, and if I could throw him, if I could have blank spaces all right here, I swear I'll put him like right here. If I could have blank spaces all through here, and then have the professor blank, Berlin, then I would do that. But I can't do that and shit like that on here. Man, I have it like that mainly because Berlin fucked up when he was doing all that little shit when he tried to kill the hostage. Then when he got into something with the hostage and shit like that, and also when he grabbed the hostage at the end, and you're coming with me. Yeah, that was some. I ain't like that, and I get it. You put her in harm's way and shit like that. He fixed up for it. He fixed up for it though when he just jumped out and was like, "Five." When he started shooting and he allowed the cops to take him out. That's when he fixed up for it, you know. So
but
that was that.
I was about to be like, I think I said before, like a character like Berlin, and he, you would think if he dies off, like, what the fuck? Like, I don't watch the rest of this shit. In a way, but then it stayed on track and still kept being good throughout the whole show. Yeah, because
they knew, like I said, it's just writers. They writ that shit to perfect. Like every plot hole, it was like they wrote some shit and was like, all right, how can this fuck up? All right, this is, and then they brainstormed. I don't know if you ever remember them webs or they write something in the middle, put a circle around it and draw lines. Yeah, they used to do that shit back in the day in school and shit. But it just seemed like with Money Heist, that's exactly what they did. They wrote something in the middle. All right, how can this fuck up? Wrote all the possible outcomes. All right, now let's try and spin all of this shit so that if somebody thinks of this, you ain't think of this. You wouldn't think of this. And then they say that's what it seemed like they did with the show. And with Berlin, that's why he was able to do that. Because Berlin dies. Oh, okay. Professor, he's still at the top of his game. Then you bring in newer characters like in Alicia. Alicia is the female Berlin. Like she's the, she's there. She the female professor at that. You know what I'm saying? Her head is just so complex. She the female, both of them, but like not combined though, cause she ain't that tough. Right. But she was just tough as hell. You know what I'm saying? But Berlin, he just was like just his brain was just different and shit. I kind of put him and Palermo on the same page and shit like that, but Berlin was just better. He's just a better character, funnier character and shit. Palermo was funny, but yeah.
And I wanted to see the fucking shootout between the wife and the son and their team. Yeah. And then Alicia and their team. I wanted to see the fucking shootout. But no, we didn't get to see the shit. And we were just talking about this. I was like, I remembered. I was like, just clapped. I was like, what if, you're talking about what if Berlin was still alive and they were faced with Gandia. Like, Gandia,
bro. Berlin, bro, that would have been some shit. But Berlin would have. What do you want me to do, little brother?
If that shit would, that shit would actually happen if he was still alive and they were facing Gandia. Whatever episode that happened in, I feel like that should have been my favorite episode. Yeah. Cap.
No bullshit.
And when you said the little brother shit, I remember this shit earlier. I remember when you said. When I was like, "What if Berlin's still alive?" And and then they opened the doors. And they're like, "Hello, little brother."
Hello, little brother. You thought I died or what? On some shit like that. Like, nah, he popped right back up.
That shit was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I have to say it because that nigga was the little brother and this nigga the whole fucking TV show. Especially when we figured out what their real identity to each other was and shit. Right. But yeah, real shit though. So that's what I said. That's what I feel about Berlin. He was a real solid ass character. Now when we talking about the Professor had his fuck ups and shit like that. Yeah. Technically, whenever you come talk about with Lisbon and shit like that, he ain't break no rules because he didn't get into a relationship with somebody in the group. The Professor said no relationships. He was talking about in the group. When he got into that relationship with Lisbon and shit like that, that's something outside. Yeah, she a fucking cop she's a head cop on the force and shit like that. But that was never a part of the rules. He was out there and, he shouldn't have got into it because he was focused on the heist. That's one thing he shouldn't have did because he was too focused on the heist. And love is such a strong thing. Whenever you feeling that type of way and shit like that, you can't, fuck with that shit. The Professor, he just, man, All these characters on here is dead if it's not for the professor. Legit. Berlin, he wouldn't survive because Berlin is too hot-headed. He was getting ready to kill a hostage. And then what did the professor do? Set up Berlin. Set Berlin up. Put your face out there. You fucking around. You tried to kill that hostage and shit like that. And then you remember when he was like,
set him up. Yeah,
and he set him up, put the button in there. Shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then he said, Berlin, you did this. So this is your consequences.
And Berlin did say, teach me consequences.
Yeah. He said, I want to see it all. He said, you got to punish me for something that I did. Yeah. I respect that shit. And the professor punished him. And he did what he had to do and shit like that. So the professor, he was standing on all of that shit. And then, like I said, all the professor fuck ups and shit like that. Once you lock the professor back into the plan, and once you gave the professor just a little tiny inch, you gave him an inch, it was a wrap. Do not let this nigga mind get to churning, because every single time he was a failure. Damn, I'm down bad. I don't know what to do next. Every single time they got him in that position, what was that nigga doing? He was like, chin up.
Right.
Chin up. Chin up. Put them glasses back on, and now it's over for your ass. And then he turning around, doing a little smile, just looking and just like, I got your ass. You know, we seen a funny side of him too. He was a funny character in ways and shit like that. You remember? Had her ass rolling. He walked up. Look, they was all arguing out there in like the middle of the night and shit like that. Like they was saying it was like 2 a.m. or 5 a.m. He walked up. He said, guys. And then her ass was gone. Her ass was gone laughing off that shit. And then you see what time it is? But it's just funny because he was serious and like you laughing at his ass good, but he's serious. And then when he started dancing, he turned on the music and started dancing and shit. That shit was funny too because he's just out of character, and he was a funny character to me. His manipulation skills was dumb. Like people say I'm a manipulative type of person, but his manipulation skills I could only imagine what his manipulation skills is like, because this man was, bro, he flipped 2 head detectives. Damn near flipped 3 in Colonel. But Colonel had, his back was against the wall. So that's the only reason why the Colonel flipped. He flipped 2 head detectives in Lisbon and Alicia. Flipped 2 of them. And it was just, he did that. Manipulation skills is crazy. He did all of that. He orchestrated all of this, as I said, and it's a fact. Bay will even agree with this. I know she will, and if she doesn't, she's delusional. All of these characters is dead if it ain't for him. He was the one getting them in and out. Yeah, he was the one getting them in and out. You don't get the goal without him. All of this talk when he went inside of the prison and when he went inside of the Bank of Spain and shit like that, he did that for his gang. This nigga was pulling cards, pulling up. 8 minutes. I want you to drop that footage. 8 minutes. Drop that footage and shit. Man, they say he sat down and thought about everything. I get it. He didn't think of this plan by himself. It was Berlin and Palermo helping as well. But this man, ins and outs of everything. It was plans that nobody knew. Lisbon thought she had everything. No. Certain things I can't even talk about in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? When he hit her with that, like, and she looked like, oh, shit. Yeah. And she was like, you got that, like that type shit where his mind was just stupid, dumb, and the writers, congratulations on that shit, because this show was just written out just so damn near, it's so close to perfect. I just need to figure out what's up with this garbage truck because I don't know about that one. I just need to figure out what's up with it. I'm gonna do some research on that because that shit don't make sense. But other than that, they was so close to being so perfect. Just that one scene. No show has ever come that close to being perfect and shit like that. Because even my favorite show of all time is The Walking Dead. And that show has so many flaws just because it's a zombie apocalypse world. And it's just, you wonder, gas. How the hell y'all keep getting all this goddamn gas to fill all these cars? Gas is going to, over time get bad. It's been 10, 12 years. How the hell, it's just so many different things. But with this, it's just like, it was so close to being perfect. But like I said, it was a couple, 1 to 2 things that I was just like legit out of all of these episodes, 44, 50 or so episodes. It's just like, hold on now, how the hell, but every other show I done seen has so many more flaws that I can just be like, all right. But this, it seemed like they wrote it down. All right, think of everything that can happen. Now we're going to think another set of things that can happen, and we're going to do shit that nobody is thinking of. And that's what the professor mind was thinking. Like, all right, they think we're gonna take it out of here. We're gonna take it out of here.
Right.
And then when we take it out of here, places. Yeah. Then when they thinking we taking it out of here, we gonna send a little mole rat through the thing and have them tracking the mole rat. And then it's just like that shit you don't even think of, like. And then we gonna have niggas running through the tunnel, faking like they running through the tunnel and shit like that. And it's just like we know that they finna put a chip in Rio, so we gonna get the chip out. And it's just all of this shit. We did the glasses thing with Angel. When they put the little thing in Angel glasses and was listening, like that shit is so cold. Like you tip your hat off to that nigga. Get that nigga his flowers because the way he performed all of this shit was just GOAT worthy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, because like I said, without him, yeah, and they doubted him so much, yeah. And then it's just like, man, yeah. And then the niggas that died and shit like that, you can look at the professor and say, hey, that's on you, man. You know. But then again, because I think Oslo was another the biggest. That's on you to the professor. Because Oslo died when the professor wasn't watching. Because that's when them people snuck out. Professor was too busy with Lisbon and shit like that. Yep. And that's when Oslo died. Definitely his fault. And then who else? Moscow. That was his dumbass fault why he died. Yeah. No, that wasn't his dumbass fault. He was covering Tokyo. I ain't gonna say that. Who else died? Nairobi. He can't do nothing. Professor couldn't do nothing about that. So Oslo is the only one. But then again, Oslo, look where he's at. But irrelevant as fuck.
It's some of the professor's fault because he didn't really listen to Berlin and them.
Yeah, true. That's a solid ass point. Yeah, he said that. Hey, because Berlin did say that he's a fucking problem, so we got to get him out of here. And he just said, I'm not a murderer. That's what he said. Right. I'm not a murderer. Fucking bullshit. You know. I'll leave that in the hands. About to be a murderer today. Yeah. You know, like I'll leave that in the hands of the murderers and shit like that. And if Berlin was about that shit, Berlin should have went and got that shit done. If you knew that your little brother wasn't about that shit, you go get it done. Right, that's very true. Palermo, you go get it done. You know what I'm saying? Because we know they'll shoot some shit. So y'all go get it done, you know? So, yeah, that's how I feel about all of that shit. And I'm pretty sure if Berlin was in this house, he would have went after Gandia. Right. He would have went after.
I would love to see that shit.
There is a new show. It's called Berlin.
I'll work with the bring that shit up. Yeah.
It's a new show called Berlin and shit. We will be watching that, but it's gonna be super far down the line. Maybe, I don't know. We might take that show just because I don't know how long it's gonna be. I don't know. We'll check the seasons and shit. Trailer doesn't have no. It's just a trailer out and shit like that. So yeah.
What were we talking about? Was that October faction when we were talking about go check that out.
Check that out, no cap.
When we were like, what if so and so was still alive? No, that was Shane and Shane and all that. Walking Dead. Yeah, that was that shit about the game and all that shit. Yeah.
So, yeah, man. As I said, it's just like so much shit that the professor had his hands on that he just like, man, if he didn't touch that shit, it's just like y'all niggas would be, everybody would be fucked. And it's just like, it was so many times I'm sitting there watching the show like, bro, how they gonna get out of this now? And I'm thinking he talking about some. When they brought Lisbon in, I ain't gonna even lie. You remember when they brought Lisbon in on the plane? That smooth ass shit. Oh my, that was another thing too. Babe, I ain't never seen no shit like that. Like they said, I'm gonna drop. They dropped him in, and then he's like, we're gonna shoot. They fake like that was Gandia the whole time, and it's just like, bro, that shit's so hard, blow your fucking mind away. And then it's just, I'm thinking they was gonna do some smoother shit, babe. Dead ass. I dead ass thought. When they dropped them in, right? Yeah. I thought they was going to save two. Like, we need to get out of here. Help us get out of here. And I thought they was going to save, like, I don't know, save two of the most weakest, like Rio and maybe Stockholm. Rio and Stockholm. I thought they was going to save two that way. And then think of different ways to save. Because you remember, when they dropped them in, they dropped down Lisbon. I thought they was going to be like, all right, we're coming back out. We need the plane here. And then the professor was gonna have the plane hovering over the top, and then they was gonna be shooting, running, and I thought they was gonna have like Rio and Stockholm go up the rope and shit like that. And then once they went up the rope, I thought they was gonna save them, fly away, and then boom, now we got Rio and Stockholm here, home and ready and safe and shit like that. But they needed them to stay inside of the. I thought that's how they was gonna like get people out. And another thing too, that would have been too easy. The show would have ended. That would have been too easy. if they would have had, you know how the police thought that they were talking to the people on the plane, but it was really talking to the professor, would have been so smooth, babe.
No, they were talking to him.
Oh, Marcelli? Oh, okay, yeah, because he was on it, yeah. So, it would have been so smooth, babe, if they pulled over the thing, and it was like, Gandhi was like, I got a group of hostages. And then everybody from the heist would have been running up behind, but it was all of us from the heist. We're putting them on a plane now. I've locked the doors. They can't get out. Everybody would have got on a plane. From the heist would have got on a plane. They flew away.
That shit would.
They never found. They found that plane and shit like that. But you remember, the professor, homie, the old nigga, Manila, Benjamin. I was gonna say Manila Dab. Benjamin. They faked it like, oh shit, we don't know anything. We don't know anything. You know, the goats or whatever the fuck he was talking about, the lambs or whatever the fuck. They could have got out of that way. That shit would have been so like shit like that. I wouldn't have thought about that. Yeah, that would have been too easy. The show would have been over and shit. I'm pretty sure these writers, they thought about that shit. That ass, you know. Yeah, so it's just so much that shit would have been so easy and shit like that. And like I said, I tip my caps off to whoever. I need to look up who wrote this shit, because this shit was. That penman shit was crazy. That shit was tough. That's some artist work right there, you know. But yeah, man. 2 hours and. Top. I think it was in like top. Yeah, I seen 4. Your shit. You doped out.
How the fuck am I doped out?
Yeah, I seen that. You doped out.
No, I'm not.
But
that shit was like a top 4 favorite.
This nigga said top 4. Shit. But no, real shit though. But yeah, man, 2 hours and 29 minutes later, we sat here for 2 hours and 29 minutes and talked about the shit. It was a lot to break down. Is this the longest show that we've watched? I feel like it is.
Yeah,
other than Marcella, but yeah. But I'm pretty sure Marcella wouldn't have been as goddamn long. But shit, still, we just had to break down every single part and shit. Hey, if y'all sat back and watched this whole video, we appreciate y'all. No bullshit. Yeah, just picking our thoughts and all of that shit. Appreciate y'all. Y'all comment everything y'all want to comment and shit. If y'all fuck with the show as much as we did and shit like that. This is just what happens whenever we rock out with a show so fucking heavy. This shit. Yeah, this shit happens when you gotta just go crazy and talk about it and shit. But yeah, man. Hey, man, if y'all enjoyed this video, please make sure I hit that like button. Comment down below anything that y'all want. We would highly appreciate it. Okay, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Shit. Keep on staying tuned because we're gonna continue to keep on dropping these TV review videos and shit. What's the next show we watching, babe?
The Midnight Club.
The Midnight Club. So y'all stay tuned for that, because the next TV review shits we gonna be doing is called The Midnight Club. So y'all stay tuned for that. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all.
And comment whose list is better, because I know it's mine.
Man, I ain't gonna even lie. You know I was spitting facts in my shit that you was like, hold on.
So right. My shit is
you was shaking your head way too much on the motherfucking professor. All that shit I was saying, like, damn.
Yeah, you're valid with those points. But shit, yeah, you still look good.
All right, but yeah, shout out my videos and don't be stingy, and please make sure I hit that subscribe button plus the bell so I get notified every single time we drop a video. We love y'all. Shit, excuse me, babe. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching. All right, but hold on, let me say this. All right, y'all. Chasing our goals, this ain't soccer, nigga. I'm blocking these hoes, these rap bitches bitter. These rap niggas dropping all trash, bitch. I'm litter, I'm shining in everywhere. Nickname is glitter. For her. Stepping on shit like a merchant band. Cooking shit up, no chef, got pots and pans. Yeah, they notice that I'm the man. I leave you lying, no capping. I swear I'm an honest man. Truth what I give you, so take it and go. Bitch, you niggas ain't me, y'all can't have her no more.